All right, guys, welcome back to the Hunter Base Podcast. What do Maverick Hunters do when they're not hunting Mavericks? They recharge and shoot the shit at the base. I'm your host with the most, Zeromaster, and with me tonight, I have three very special guests. With me again, I have Nightman39.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Another River City Gamers friend of mine, OniRokaku.
What's up?
And an old bridging friend of mine who's also a Twitch streamer, JakatoX.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you guys doing? How you feeling?
I'm tired because I just worked. Well, it started snowing.
Oh yeah, lots of snow over here.
Same with me, just tired from work. Let's just go with that. But before you start, since it's my first time on here, thanks, man.
Hi. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
I hear you guys about being tired. It was my dad's 58th birthday today, so we had a bunch of family over, and it was snowy. So,
come happy birthday!
Nice.
From us.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Dad. Oh, even though this will come out after your birthday, whatever.
I'll be watching again next year, and then it'll be relevant again.
He doesn't even know what a podcast is. So, but hey, so we are gathered here tonight to discuss the new Dragon Ball Super movie, Broly. I saw it last night. I think Oni, you saw it a couple of nights ago.
Debut, yep.
And Jakato, you saw it, and Jakato Nightman, you guys saw it recently as well, eh?
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. It was amazing.
I saw it on like day one of when it started showing in my theater. So
Yeah,
Cool.
that's what I meant to say was day one. But the thing is with me, can I explain? Considering the fact I had to go to another city to see it.
All right, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty rough. Mine is pretty easy because it's only like 5 minutes away from here. Yeah. But I want to hear your story if you had to travel out there.
Yeah, I did. I'll explain the other story at the end with the other thing. But you see, considering that it was a like limited theater kind of deal, my city couldn't get it because it's a small city in a technically hick town. And I'm allowed to insult my own city. Okay. So, because here's the thing. I already bought my ticket on Fandango, but I had to go to another city and traffic was just, getting there. But I've been to this other city like multiple times. So, but the problem is I couldn't find the theater. So we had to leave early to find the theater. And we just had to end up finding it on Google Maps. And this theater was like, it had its own like boulevard. And it was like technically in the, am I allowed to go 4-letter words on this?
As long as it's not racist or prejudiced.
It won't be. It was literally in the fucking woods.
Don't go in the woods.
Crap.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Theater in the Woods. That sounds like another horror movie right there. Just
Yeah.
right.
I'm writing that down. Anyway, the theater was big, but I'll get more into that after we give our thoughts on the movie. Because I still got another story.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad because my theater is like 5 minutes away from me, and it's playing for like 2 weeks, multiple times even.
Yeah,
Same as mine.
I'm in a fairly small town, but like
Same here.
my theater is playing it, so I don't understand that.
You know, it's weird. Like I also had to go to another city to watch the movie, but like it's a city that's right next to my home city, so it's not like it mattered. But I'm very surprised that AMC in Plainville was actually playing it because they don't usually play anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, my AMC was playing it.
I went to a Cineplex, so
Okay.
I don't know if you probably heard of this, but mine was like a Regal theater.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I used to have like a Regal theater, but they closed that down, and oddly enough, became an AMC. So I got more AMCs in my hometown. So like, okay, sure. I mean, I got a membership card. That's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I went with my buddy Corey, who I do Let's Plays with on Power Plays. Let's Play series. He was actually the one who suggested we should go because I totally forgot the movie was coming out. You have to understand that I didn't watch the trailers. I didn't look up any of the information on this.
Oh, okay.
I don't do that anymore because I end up getting spoiled. So I'm just like, so I just kind of forgot it was happening. And then my buddy's like, hey, do you want to go see it next week? I'm like, oh, right, that's coming out. Yeah, we should. So I wasn't as hyped for this to say as I was with Two Heroes, which was during the summer last year.
I'm jealous you saw that.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
It was so good to see in the theater, and it's funny.
Oh yeah, dude.
I did the podcast episode with CJ. He had never seen the dub of My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay.
So it was his first experience with it.
Okay.
Other than a few episodes him and I watched at one point, and he was like, he was impressed with how good the dub was. But
nice.
And I was actually, that's one thing I'll say. I'm happy we got the movie dubbed because I know some, like, with some movies they do dubbed and subbed releases, and it's like, at you what you get. But I'm glad we got the dub.
Yeah,
so,
I was about to ask which one you saw, the dub or the sub, because when I went to go see it, I saw the English dub, but then I went again another day, and then they're playing the sub for it. So it was a very crazy thing where it's like, oh, okay, so I guess they're doing both here.
Yeah, I saw the dub. I think they're doing a sub run afterwards.
Yeah,
that's what they did with My Hero Academia, actually.
Yeah,
I think the theater, the Regal Theater I was at, just did the dub, which I'm okay with it. I mean, I could do the sub, but I think I think I have to agree with a friend of mine on this. And this is, if anybody likes the Japanese VA for Goku, that's you. It just doesn't register with me sometimes that Goku is voiced by a female. And I'm not, I'm not being sexist or anything. I think it's just in my mind. I just can't picture it.
I just don't like the Japanese version of Dragon Ball. It's and maybe that's because I grew up with it dubbed, but I just never could connect with it, and that's why Super was hard for me to watch at first because I was like, I for a long time I was like, I'll wait for the dub, and then I'm like, okay, I'll watch a little bit of it, and I'll say straight up, I know what happens in Super, but I'm not caught up. I've watched up to the end of the Universe 6 tournament arc. And that's
okay.
Yeah. Right. So, but you don't have to have seen all of Dragon Ball Super to get this. It does take place after the current Super TV series. I know more of it's coming eventually. So, So time frame wise, this movie takes place right after the Tournament of Power. So.
Yep.
So what's great about this movie is it starts off with a kind of a long flashback sequence or story building sequence, which I wasn't upset about. It actually worked really, really well in terms of the story. And they one thing I liked is they retold Broly's origin because his origin kind of sucked in the movies we had.
Yeah.
It was what was his original origin? Like he would lose his shit because Goku cried around
him. Right? Yeah.
No,
they were in the same like birthing tank thingy, and Goku was in the one next to him, and he was always crying, and that kind of like enraged him as a child, and that kind of like stuck with him as he got older.
And what I like about this version is that made Broly more of a chosen one kind of thing because he was like he was a low class warrior that had high potential. And that's what I really liked about it. I don't want to get too far into that. We'll come back to Broly himself later, but what I liked at the start is it shows something that we never saw, because something I always question, I'm like, well, if it's called the Frieza Force and Frieza's the ruler of the galaxy, who is King Cold? Who is this guy? Like, And we get to find out that how Frieza becomes a ruler, which is cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool aspect of it.
Yeah.
They never explained that in the original series, so that was a great touch.
Yeah, they never explained. Well, we knew King Cold was like Frieza's dad or anything, but it's just like, what was he doing before this? And blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the problem was we never heard of him before, and then here we go. He just a father of Frieza just shows up.
I love the fact that like King Cold is the whole reason that Frieza becomes the ruler, and it becomes instead of the Cold Force becomes the Frieza Force, is because King Cold wants to retire from being a conqueror.
Mm-hmm. He's like just legit retiring. He's like, yeah, I did my years in, everything's fine, I'm good.
He's
Here
like,
you go, son.
You can do it, Frieza.
I'm retired now. You can do it, my baby boy.
And I think it's funny because, like, technically, like, the way they put it is Frieza is more cold-hearted than his father was when it came to ruling. Like, it almost seemed like, even though, like, and this is just in my head, I don't know if it's true, it almost seemed like even though they conquered, like, the Saiyans and all these other things, like, it felt almost like King Cold had more of a kingly respect with, like, King Vegeta and stuff like that. Like, they were, like, he was obviously the head of the the whole Cold
Force,
right? Yeah, actually, from when I got it, I kind of got like a Darth Vader agreement with Lando type vibe, where it's like when they had like terms of agreement, and then suddenly Frieza comes in, and like that was not part of the terms of the agreement.
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Yeah, exactly, like that.
Yeah,
because like it seems like because they also established on point too. Like this is something new as well. They established that the Saiyans were already conquering planets before they were taken over by King Cold.
Mm-hmm.
So like they already had like a business and empire like already established and stuff, and then they kind of like joined in with them.
And it's almost like King Cold. His army taking over the Saiyans was less of like a like dictatorship and more of like a company buying another company almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though negotiations are made with hand lasers, so
like a hostile takeover, but still kind of a company type.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A hostile takeover without that tyrannical rule before Frieza came.
And I love that this movie introduces the Scouters and a little more of what they can do. They're not just, they don't just read power levels. They're also communication devices, which we knew. But they're always on communication devices. So.
Oh, yeah, right. They established the whole thing about the Scouters always being on, which you learn about with the whole Raditz thing later in Dragon Ball Z, if you were to put it in the timeline. It's where they had Raditz Scouter on, and it's like,
almost like when our
phones
are. It's almost like what people say about our phones these days, that they're always, looking at it. The government's always looking at it. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They also
a little bit.
Right. They also introduced the precursor to the Scouter, which is also pretty interesting too. It's kind of like almost like a tablet AR type thing, where it's like you put it up with something and you
scan it with the thing, and there'd be a screen over here. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. That was a pretty interesting thing. They show the precursor.
I really liked all this backstory stuff they were doing because it was very, it was very interesting because it showed us a lot of stuff. Because all the stuff we've seen about the pre-Dragon Ball stuff, like pre-Goku era stuff, it was just glimpses of stuff, and there was a little bit in the Bardock special. But never went crazy. And that's another thing that changed. They changed the Bardock's backstory a little bit, which was interesting because wasn't it like a few years ago they released the special where he
episode of time? Episode of Bardock.
Yeah, episode of Bardock. I know the reason why. I mean, I think Jakato. I'm trying to get your name right now.
Yeah, it's fine. It's Jakato. You got it right.
Yeah. And I think Nightman knows that, but I don't know if you know, Zero, so stop me if you have. The reason why they redid Bardock's story and now that's canon is because most of this story is taken from the manga that Toriyama did called Dragon Ball Minus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what they used.
Yeah,
like it's a weird fusion between Dragon Ball Minus and like part of the stuff from episode of Bardock, because they still show some of the scenes from episode of Bardock not episode of Bardock, the Bardock special. I mean, they took some of that stuff because that was also shown in the manga as well, and they put it in there. Like his last stand, that's still in there.
Oh yeah, always
like
gonna be
exactly the same way.
But what they did was, I mean, the Bardock special, before the episode of Bardock, they took out that "I can see the future" thing, and I had their bridge.
They took out the whole.
That made no sense to begin with.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird.
I'm gonna touch your head. Boom. Now you know.
But it's also a weird thing too, because like I saw like another thing recently as well. Like you look carefully, you could actually see cameos of the Saiyans that were part of Bardock's crew from the special in the background for this as well, during like group shots. So it's like, okay, so like what parts are canon, what parts aren't canon? It's like this weird hodgepodge. I almost feel like it would be awesome if they could like just do another like redone version of the Bardock special.
It's
like a lot of
fit right in there.
Yeah,
it's like the AVGN says, you take two cannons and you put them together.
Anyway, but I was gonna say, in terms of, since he's not doing that "I can see the future" thing, he's just more. He's like, he's got this gut feeling, like he knows something's about to happen, and it just confirms his fears. That I could get away with. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what I was going to say is, while this was going on, like just shortly before this, so King Vegeta's looking at his son, Prince Vegeta, the Vegeta we know, in his incubation chamber or whatever they're called, and notices that a low-class warrior, Broly, is there, and it's because, and the doctors are trying to explain to him, no, listen, this guy's got a huge potential. He might be a great asset to us one day.
Right.
So, King Vegeta doesn't like that, so he, when it's time to send out Broly and his pod, he sends him to a remote planet. And I got a vibe of, one, King Vegeta is jealous, and two, he's also afraid, because he's probably thinking, a low-class warrior with that much power, low-class warriors don't usually have that much power, so it could become uncontrollable. That's at least the vibe I got. So I better put him somewhere where he can't do us any harm, but we can still reach him if we need him, kind of thing. So that's what I got from it. But obviously Broly's dad didn't think so. He thought he was jealous, so he went and tried to save his son on the planet, which is kind of neat. We got to see like them exploring the planet that Broly was sent to.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they also, like, during the part where they're talking about, like, whoa, Broly, like, why is he so strong and stuff? Like, I'm actually looking up some, like, background stuff on here, and, like, I think they outright, rather than him, like the way how they explain it is that he's got, like, some kind of mutation. That's why, like, a low-class warrior is, like, so super strong. Like, it's almost like he's a mutant out of the whole Saiyan race.
Yeah. And I'm just going like back and forth with the first Broly movie that's non-canon. At least with this one, Paragus wants vengeance over Vegeta's family, technically. King Vegeta and all that. But at least King Vegeta was just like, oh, your son's dangerous, we're gonna have to kill him. No, you can't, Bo. Okay, we'll kill you, Bloom.
Yeah,
they're just like, they're just like, oh, your son is dangerous, so we're just going to send him off to a remote planet just in case.
Have I ever said that I found the old Broly movies to be kind of overrated?
It's a guilty pleasure for me. I can't.
I think at one point they were overrated, but then later on, the reason, like, we had this remake now, but even then, like, right before the remake, people were starting to realize, Broly wasn't really super good.
Yeah.
Because like almost everybody, like back in the day when there was news, like, oh my god, Broly. But then as the years went by, I think more people started realizing, it's a terrible story.
This guy kind of sucks.
My thing is, I'd only seen the movies once. Like when I was in my Dragon Ball Z binge when I first started collecting like DVDs and stuff, I watched the movies once, and I'm like, I knew it was they were popular at that time, but I was like, I don't really get it. He's just a guy who's too strong for his own good. So I guess that's the narrative. So it was nice with this movie, we're finally getting more about him, and like it fixes a lot of the problems that Broly as a character had. Because I think, I can't remember exactly, but I think at one point to look for Goku in one of the older movies, he basically just goes around destroying planets until he
that's totally what happened in the older movies. Like him and Paragus, like they're just like taking over planets and enslaving like aliens. They have like an army built up, and they're like going to planet, kind of like almost doing like a Frieza like thing. But like that's something that they did to eventually arrive back to like Earth and get revenge on like Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, it was kind of not thought out. This at least we can see why. It's Paragus, is that his name?
Yeah, Paragus.
Yeah.
At least we can see why he wants revenge against Vegeta. So, but anyways, so going back to Bardock, he knows something's up. He's like, why would Frieza call all the Saiyan forces back to Vegeta, to planet Vegeta, for nothing? And of course, a lot of the Saiyans think, oh, there must be a huge like planet that, you know, is too much just for the Frieza force, and they need us to back them up. So most people are fine with it, but Bardock is like, nope, that doesn't sound like a thing that Frieza would do. So I'm gonna just take my son and send him off to some remote planet called Earth with low power levels. No one will find him there. Which I thought was interesting, like, because it's Broly. I mean, Bardock still meets his end the same way, but it's less rushed this time. Like,
like part of that too is he also, like, another aspect that they took from Dragon Ball Minus. He had to like convince his wife, Bardock's wife, that like, hey, we should totally send Kakarot to this other planet so it can be like raised okay, or at least grow up to be okay. As opposed to like what's going on here, I have a very strong feeling that something bad's going to happen.
It was basically Superman's backstory.
Yeah,
pretty much. It's like a Superman scenario like going on here.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, because I watched a lot of Dragon Ball from Original Z, and I even watched GT. I watched the specials and everything else. I was going to say, considering I saw the Bardock special, the first one. Might as well just refer to it as the Bardock special.
Yeah, the Bardock special.
Bardock technically was kind of a douche in a way. Even though he meant good, he was still technically
like an atypical Saiyan.
Yeah, atypical Saiyan. Here with Broly and in a way, Dragon Ball Minus, it's like he has a damn conscience. Like he does love his son and his wife. Gine.
Because I mean, the
and he also asks about Raditz too, so he's actually kind of concerned about him.
Yeah, he's like, where's our other son, Raditz? Oh, he's off on another planet. Good.
I love how basically, like, his wife at one point was like, why are you giving so much of a fuck? Like, Saiyan warriors aren't supposed to care about their family that much, which doesn't make sense to me, but okay. That's how I guess the race works, but he actually knows something's going down, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to risk my next of kin from being destroyed by this maniacal maniac. And I think the interesting thing about the whole dynamic of Broly being this some kind of like chosen one of the low class warriors is interesting, because then you've got Goku, who didn't have anything. He was considered small at that point.
Yeah.
In the timeline. So this guy, in essence, even though Goku's the guy from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z who always wins, at that point he was considered an underdog. Because he wasn't supposed to get that strong, but he did. So, and I think it's just as funny that he's the one who eventually takes out Frieza in Dragon Ball Z. By the way, Frieza, just side note real quick, is pretty good comic relief in this movie.
Like a lot of crazy stuff.
Not
to say anything yet. We'll get to it soon, but
because I've got a lot to say about Frieza as well for the movie.
So,
because like in the movie itself, there's like a lot of stuff. Because like I'll bring this up now, but it'll become more relevant later as we talk about the movie. But I want to bring out the point that, like we were saying before, Broly's old backstory next to the same pot as Goku, right? And then like the reason why he's super strong and everything, and why he's like super mad about Goku all the time is because they grew up in the same pod. And this one, again, going back, like Vegeta and Broly, they're in like the same pods and stuff, and Goku's like on like the other side of the planet and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like already completely different type of movie here with this Broly.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to see different relationships kind of like dip back and forth from what you're expecting as you're watching the movie, which there's a major part that comes later on that I'll bring up, but since we're not on there yet, I'll be quiet about it.
Also, I think that brings up a good point. It almost seems like Bardock is from a different part of Planet Vegeta, like a different, I don't know, continent or country or something, because the area that he's from is a lot less technologically savvy than, say, the kingdom where King Vegeta is. Like they still live in huts technically in where Bardock's city or whatever he's at is. So it almost seems like they're separated from the main capital of the planet, but they're still connected to it in terms of what they do for free, which I thought was kind of cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get to see like the hierarchy of like the actual Planet Vegeta, where it's like, yeah, here's the inner kingdom, and then here's like the Outrim area.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But just moving along a little bit, there is some. So obviously, yeah. God, what's the guy's name? Broly's dad.
Paragus.
Paragus. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. Does find his son and secretly trains him on that planet. But skip ahead to present day.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back for a second, because there's something bothering me about this before you get to it.
Okay.
You know, after he finds his son and everything, the Paragus and I'm just gonna call him Red Shirt.
Oh,
wait, I know who you're talking about. You mean Meat. I think his name was Meat.
Okay, yeah. Meat. He's bitching and moaning about, we only got enough to last us.
Yeah, Meat the pilot, the guy who kind of helped Paragus find Broly.
Yeah, he was just like, we only got enough food for days, and the spaceship's destroyed, we can't get off of it, and blah, 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 blah. What are we gonna do? Paragus, either he had picked up the gun or had the gun hidden, turns around and says, I got an idea. Pshum! Wow, you would eat your own kind?
one less mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's his mindset right there.
That was probably
also, the other thing too is they're on that planet, so they have no idea what's happening on actual planet Vegeta while this is like in the in-between time. Because we talked about like you know like what happens to planet Vegeta eventually gets destroyed and stuff. They're still on that planet, not knowing what's happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
but yeah, it's nice to know that cannibalism knows no alien race.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely one of the other darker scenes I've ever seen. And
yeah, no kidding. Like, it's like the thing is that Meat guy was actually helping Paragus find Broly and was actually kind of like concerned. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah. And that's how he appeased him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He was actually totally on board and actually called him noble for like trying to go after his son and was actually willing to help him. But then, like, oh, looks like the ship's destroyed, and we only got 10 days worth of food. What are we gonna do? And then Paragus just straight up eliminates him.
Yeah, it's just like, thank you for your service and anything, but damn, douchebag much?
Well, Saiyans are pretty known for being douchebags.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Unless it's Bardock now, and I'm talking like version 2.0.
Yeah. Or AKA the canon Bardock.
Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, sorry, Zero. I just had to bring it up. I had to.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm glad you did. But like moving to present day, we cut to the characters at a resort, and God, how rich is Bulma?
They invented the capsule technology. I think that's enough to...
Yeah.
Everybody's using it on the planet. That's like... They got to be like the richest family in the world. Otherwise, I don't know who else would be the richest family in the world.
Yeah.
So that technology out.
Bulma has a resort at a remote island so far separated from the closest city so that Goku and Vegeta can do their training above the ocean, while Whis and Beerus just lug around and eat shit.
Yeah.
Like they do every time they show up now, pretty much.
So, hyperbolic time chamber. What's that?
Yeah. But
Pretty
I was gonna say about the rich thing. There's tiers of it normally. You've got rich, super rich, and fuck you rich. Bulma Brief's rich. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like she's in a separate like class. Like you got that, and then I guess the second richest family would be like Mr. Satan or Hercule.
Yeah, that's the
being
fuck
like
you.
tier 2.
Yeah, that's the fuck you rich. And Bulma's like above that.
Yep.
Anyway. Sorry, I'm rambling.
But so they're there, and they she gets a call from Trunks on her Apple Watch, and to say that somebody came by and stole the Dragon Radar and the 6 Dragon Balls she had collected, and I think it's funny. They're like, wait a minute, those costumes, that's got to be the Frieza Force. And then, of course, it's just before that, Vegeta and Goku were bickering, and Vegeta's basically like, you let Frieza live. He's like, well, wait, I made a promise. So,
like, what are the odds that he's going to turn back on us right now?
Yeah, that was dumb.
The funny thing is, so they realized that Frieza's forces stole the radar and the Dragon Balls they collected.
Oh yeah, they specifically send out like super low level dudes to go steal it as well, just so they wouldn't like be sensed by anybody on the planet.
Exactly. So they're like, well, luckily, Bulma remembers where the last Dragon Ball is. She just didn't get it because it was too cold.
Oh,
which is funny because this same area has been used several times in Dragon Ball.
Yep.
The world's strongest, Super 13,
the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, we can technically count that, but technically Bulma, I don't think was near it anyway.
But yeah, she basically said because it's too cold. And then when they're flying to get it, they asked what she was collecting Dragon Balls for. It's because she wants to look 5 years younger.
Oh yeah, this is a gag, by the way.
And then everybody's like, well, why would Frieza want the Dragon Balls? And like Vegeta is like, it's obvious. He probably wants to become immortal. And then Goku's like, well, why would he want to become immortal? I'm like, why would anybody want to become immortal in Dragon Ball Z? that's
I mean, go ask King Piccolo. He had the right idea.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Oh no, like he did the youthful thing. But I mean, like, go ask some of the other characters, like that aren't in continuity, like Garlic Jr.
Yeah, Garlic Jr.
Cut back to Frieza. We find out the real reason he wants the Dragon Balls is so.
Oh wait! Before you say that, like they also had his own minions try guessing what it was. It's like it's for the immortality, right? And then Frieza had to be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
like what? They like conquer the universe.
Reason why he doesn't want immortality.
Yeah, he just he pretty much says. Sorry,
yeah, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, he just pretty much says, "What would be the fun in that?" Because he's already died twice,
and that was like immortal torment for him right there, being already dead. And he realizes, if I had immortality, that's kind of like more or less I'll be like, immortally tormented, being on the same plane of existence over and over again. He doesn't want that kind of similar experience by being immortal on the living universe anymore.
Because, like you said, he technically just experienced that when he was dead. So he's like, nah, fuck that. And then the other guy said, you just don't want to get hurt again, do you? And he's just like, no, what would be the fun in that?
Because they were saying, like, okay, well, what about, like, some kind of, like, healing ability? Like, you can still, like kind of, like, you could stay, like, you could still exist and stuff, but you'd still, like, not get injured. And, like, no, that wouldn't be fun at all either, not being injured.
No, what?
Nope.
And then that's when he's just like, then what does he want it for?
He just wants to be taller.
But not just taller, 5 centimeters taller.
And it's funny because for the first time, we can see the real parallels between Frieza and Bulma.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if, with Frieza being this comic relief, sometime in the future in Super, they're going to have to work he's going to have to work with Bulma together, kind of like they do in the Dragon Ball Fighters.
Right. But it's pretty funny, though, because, like, they actually established, because, like, they also make this part, they reference how short Frieza really is in the Frieza Force throughout the movie. Like, the other soldiers are, like, saying, yeah, he's self-conscious about his height. Do not talk about that, like, at all. But it's also pretty crazy, too, because they also bring up, like, okay, if you're worried about height, then why don't you just go back to your form, too, where you're, like, super huge and stuff. And he's like, that's not the point. I want to be in my final form and Golden Frieza form and still be taller. Yeah. That's what he says. But it's also an interesting point, too. I saw this, like, recently. Some folks were talking about it. That it's almost like a callback to the original Dragon Ball with Commander Red. You remember Commander Red from the original Dragon Ball? He also wanted the Dragon Balls to, like, wish himself taller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole Red Ribbon Army thing. Like, that's the whole reason why they were collecting the Dragon Balls was because Commander Red wanted to get taller. And in the end, it didn't really work out for him because his subordinate was, like, actually stronger and more competent than he was and eliminated him. But they can't really do that with Frieza because he actually is, like, the strongest guy in the Frieza Force.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's just... I do find it funny. And I'm going back to, I'm technically going back to Bulma, but at the same time staying with Frieza on this. And they're both just saying, what if you did it, like, for Frieza's case, a little bit more taller, or in Bulma's case, like 10 years younger. And basically, they're just like, it's not a split screen or nothing. They're just both basically mirroring, saying, because it would be noticeable.
Yeah, it'd be like super obvious if there's that much of a difference between them if they go any more than what they're intending.
But Bulma's reason actually makes sense because people will gossip and ask who her plastic surgeon is.
Yeah, Frieza's reasoning is just like his men would talk about it, and guess who's about to be dead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I do love it how they would say, "Well, why don't you go to your second form?" and all that.
Oh, you mean
right?
Yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
exactly.
Before you continue on, since we're now at Frieza, and I've had a few days to let it simmer. Yeah. Is it just me, or is Frieza starting to become, and I'm going to be doing like two parallels to this a little bit, like between Sonic and Power Rangers. Does it feel like a Dr. Eggman / Lord Zed vibe? And I'm not talking like early Lord Zed when he was like menacing and shit, but later Lord Zed when he was...
Yeah, he's becoming more of a comical villain, I'd say.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Oni. It seems like he's becoming more comical, which is fine because Frieza's now... He's not threatening anybody.
Like he's not like the supreme ruler of the entire universe anymore. Like his Frieza Force is only like a couple guys and stuff this time around. So it's more like it's like a scaled down. Like there's still a threat to the universe and stuff, but like they're not like the threat they used to be.
Yeah,
like their standards really have gotten lower. They're like going to like outer rim planets and recruiting people who are like, "Hey, you want to join the Frieza Force?" Like, okay, as opposed to before, where it's like, "Oh, you either have to like join the Frieza Force or you'll be like a slave or something."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Galactic Police are strong enough now that they probably wouldn't. Frieza Force is just like the Yakuza at this point.
Yeah, basically. No, that's another point that's brought up in the movie where a character was like on like escaping from the Galactic Patrolmen and stuff, and like, I joined the Frieza Force because it offers like some kind of quote protection. I'm doing like air quotes here, but like, because like if you join the Frieza Force, they won't really mess with you, but at the same time, it's like they're a strong enough thing where they can go against the Galactic Patrolmen, but they're not like a huge army like they once used to be, where they control half the galaxy or majority of it.
Mm-hmm. This is why I'm saying I just still get this feeling that Frieza's just, you know how like Vegeta was villain and then anti-hero, technically hero, but you still classify him as an anti-hero, but he doesn't want to destroy everybody now.
Right.
Yeah. I think Frieza's just going to be still that comical kind of villain, but it's more anti-villain. Like he's still.
Like if I were to like guess, it's kind of like he's almost in the range of like Vegeta on Namek.
Yeah,
that's where he's like he can kind of help with the hero sometimes, but at the same time he's still kind of like selfish and everything, and still looking out for himself.
Yeah,
for the most part, but
it's like as time goes on, Frieza's gonna have that because he's in a way he still wants to kill Goku and Vegeta, but it's like time will go on. He'll realize that hey, I might want to team up with them one day. I still want to take over some planets, but maybe it's just best not to either not fuck with them anymore or be like a common ally, like redundant things.
It could also be like a case where it's like, hey, yeah, they're kind of doing their own thing, but as long as I'm like over here doing my thing, I can still be me. But eventually, I don't know, someday I might come back.
I think here's the thing though, because they still got to keep the ending of Z in mind too, and they never.
I think technically they may edit the ending of Z soon. I don't know when, because the way it's looking, they still have more stories to tell.
Yeah.
So if they rework Z, then again, I'm actually hearing rumors about them trying to make Super Saiyan 4 canon in a way to make sense.
I mean, how can you really do Super Saiyan 4 when you already have God in?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of because like even in like spin-off games like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, they also kind of like or Xenoverse or like the Dragon Ball Heroes, they kind of like try to hand wave away, like saying like, wait, how is he like a Super Saiyan God and stuff? And in this time,
I think the official canon, if we go by, well,
it's like in the actual Z ending, they don't actually do any transformations or anything. Like the actual ending to Z, they don't actually talk about gods or anything like that, but it could be, you could fit it in there, but there was no reason to bring it up.
I think the theory is because of Heroes, is that GT is another. It's
an alternate universe.
An alternate universe. It's not discovered yet or not part of the original canon. Because from what I understand, based on Dragon Ball Heroes, Super Saiyan God, and I mean the red hair, and Super Saiyan 4 are pretty much equal strength. Just one uses Godly Ki, and the other one just is like an increase of standard Super Saiyan Ki.
Oh yeah.
So
it taps into the Great Ape or Ozaru,
which is interesting because technically in this movie, we'll get to this later on, that Broly's latent power is basically the same as his Ozaru form, but he's doesn't have to transform to an Ozaru for it. So you could say like his Super Saiyan form, his reason it's legendary is because it's he doesn't, like, the legend of the Super Saiyan was they had to be anytime they showed it in Dragon Ball Z, they had to be an Ozaru form to become a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, it's like your version of Super Saiyan is, oh, you got golden hair, and oh, you got Godly Ki, you now have Super Saiyan God.
Yeah, because we still don't even fully understand how God Ki works, because it works differently, but it's not. But it's still like a power increase somehow.
Yeah.
Because when Battle of the Gods came out, nobody could sense Goku's energy when he became a Super Saiyan God, because it was a different type of ki that they weren't used to feeling out. So I'm sure we're going to get more explanations of it as time goes on. But but getting back to the movie,
I was going to say real quick, and then since you brought up the legendary Super Saiyan thing, and that it's just real quick, you know, in the non-canon.
Let's talk about this when we talk about Broly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because like there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about that legendary Super Saiyan thing, and in proportion to the movie, because there's a lot of different changes from the original into this one. But we'll get to that when we get more on Broly.
New ragtag heroes of ours from the Frieza Force. I can't remember their names, but the one girl I recognize because there was already a lot of porn of her before this movie came out.
Oh yeah, no, people already latched onto that character really quickly.
Yeah. I can't remember her name even.
I'm actually going back to the wiki for this one so I can.
And then there's that. I love that her partner was some guy who's just like, I'm in my 40s, and this is, you know.
Okay, I know the name now for the female, Chilai, and the guy Limo.
Yeah, I actually really like those two. They seem like really they seem like you know, best buds with Broly, which made for some good chemistry.
Yeah, and it's funny because what happens is the reason they're important is because they discover a distress signal, and they actually say it's an old Frieza Force distress signal, so it's like a really, really old one. That Paradise has been sending this distress signal out for years, And when they finally get there, he's old and gray. And Broly is fully grown up now. And so they discover them, and they bring him back to Frieza. And he pledges his allegiance to Frieza because he's still upset about how he still feels betrayed by King Vegeta. So he's just like, I'll just go along with whatever you want. As long
yeah. That's the other thing, too. Like, when they're talking to Paragus and Broly, is like, yeah, did you know about Planet Vegeta getting eliminated by a meteorite?
Yeah, and they kind of
Frieza himself asked him that to see, like, okay, do these guys know? Like, how can I play this, like, right about now?
Yeah, and as soon as Paragus learns that, he's like, oh, no, I don't. Well, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's literally serves him right.
Yeah, I'm thinking of this in a way. If Frieza had said, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, well, okay, here's the truth. I'm the one who blew it up. Oh, there you go. Like, whatever. I don't care. Whatever, I don't care. If Frieza had just said that, and it's just like, either way, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Fuck that.
But I think it's interesting because, like, on the ride, another thing I forgot, on the ride back to Frieza, you see that Broly is he's still kind of like one of those guys he's not all that bright. He's not really a big talker. He's more, because I would assume his father wasn't a very good teacher for a lot of things, except fighting. So,
he tried showing some manners, like he had to having to remind him manners and stuff at one point in the movie. But like he haven't actually had any other social interaction other than his father.
Yeah,
thing. Like if anything, I'd say it's like almost like a dark, like a little bit darker interpretation of Grandpa Gohan raising Goku, because like Broly's kind of like almost feral-ish.
Yeah,
sort of like he's unaware of like how people interact or what certain foods are, because he's been raised on this planet the whole time. And then like Chila is almost acting like a Bulma here, coming in, meeting Broly, saying like, "Hey, yeah, we got like spaceship food and all this other crazy technology. Come with us."
Can I just go into like a brief of Broly's character?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to do the parallels. You know, going back to the non-canon movie. You know how Broly, we're going back to he's silent and all. And then, you know, as soon as he sees Kakarot because of the reason, he's like always angry. And it's like, yeah, your character method's stupid. When we learn more about Broly's canon character in this movie, it almost... No, I'm not going to say almost. Fuck it. I felt sorry for Broly. Because,
Oh, yeah.
You're right. In a way, Broly is technically a parallel Goku. He's still a Saiyan. And now instead of, you know, because I can't remember her name and I just had it right there. Chilai. Chilai is technically Broly's version of Bulma, except they didn't meet when Broly was a kid. Broly is fully grown, and they're trying to learn Broly, who Broly is and everything. And I'm going to get to that one part, because technically this is still, you know, where Chilai and Broly are talking, because she wanted to, remove the fur, and he was like, "Don't touch it!" And then he goes into the explaining of it, like, I think, the next scene or two?
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit. Like, they're already established with Frieza by that point, saying, like, okay, yeah, like, Paragus and Broly are going to work with Frieza. We're going to go fight Vegeta, who, like, Vegeta's, King Vegeta's son, Vegeta the Fourth, is still alive. Yeah, Vegeta the Fourth, that's another thing.
Yeah, that was another thing.
But, so they're like going, yeah, we could go after him, because it's like, of course, King Vegeta somehow saved his son. Like, Frieza doesn't say anything, but he wants to, like, fuel the revenge. So he's like, oh yeah, King Vegeta totally put priority over his son than anybody else, and that's why he's alive. Just conveniently enough, they were off planet, so...
Oh yeah, definitely.
Completely also lying about that as well, but like, so they're totally on board with that, and then while they're trying to learn more about Broly, they're like changing up their uniforms, getting the new Frieza wear and stuff, but even when he gets the new like armor, he's like, nah, I don't want that, it's too constricting and stuff, but he still keeps the pelt that he had from like the planet that he was from.
Yeah,
like,
and then Chilai wants to try and get rid of it, and Broly's like, don't touch it.
Yeah. And also, a thing to mention that we haven't mentioned here is that Paragus takes control of Broly, or to keep him under control, by using a shock collar, essentially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He says it's not enough to deal a lot of damage, just enough to get him to stop.
To calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
Where, again, and I'm just going to be going back and forth between the non-canon movie and the canon. I'm sorry, but this is how much I love Broly as a character. Not the motivation between the two, but anyway. Because, when Paragus, when he looked younger and didn't have the gray, he had that, was it the bracelet or what was it? I can't remember the name.
The crown thing that he had?
Yeah, and he would use it and just tell him, Broly, to either calm down or behave, and it would just glow and make noise, and Broly would just, you could see him fight it. But then when you see the shock collar thing, and just not enough to hurt him, but at least enough to calm him down, that's more of the, I could understand that more than I could the, oh, I got this little mind control bracelet thing. Here you go, Broly.
Yeah, because like in the original one, it's like, yeah, it's a mind control thing, so he's got like a subdued personality when he's wearing the thing, and it's like those are completely separate personalities from each other, more or less.
Yeah.
In that one. But in this one, it's like, now he has a personality and stuff, and he's like prone to like some rage fits, and that's why he has the shock collar on, but it's not like a separate personality. It's not like he completely changes as a person. It's just more of him losing sense of like who he is when he goes into rage form. But his base personality still remains.
Yeah, because of him, I think not only turning into a great ape maybe a couple of times, but just pretty much having the great ape form, but now in his human-ish form.
Yeah, like he could utilize the abilities of the great ape naturally, as opposed to like, like looking at the moon and whatnot.
Yeah, and that also explains his rage. And I can totally understand that.
Oh, just one other thing, just backpedaling a little bit. When Paragus and the other dude get to the planet, he looks up at the moon. The one guy, he's like, and then Paragus is like, don't stare at it for too long. You'll turn into a great ape. And if you're not used to that form, you'll go into a blind rage. So I guess the Saiyans can look at the moon, but the longer they look at it, the more likely they are to turn into a great ape.
Yeah, it's just not like instant. It's like you do have a set time limit. It's like, don't look at it too long, otherwise you'll turn into an Ozaru. And I don't even think they call it an Ozaru, do they?
Yeah, they call it a great ape in the yeah. But like, it's an interesting point too, because we already established, because like they're wondering, I wonder if Broly ever turned into a great ape. But when they did find him on the planet, they were like, nope, yep, he totally turned into a great ape, killed all these like creatures on the planet. He's already done this at least once. So like during the time in between, like back in the flashback to the present, there's multiple times where he just turned into an ape, and then Paragus was like, screw it, just cut the tail off every time.
Yeah, I don't even think it was it. And I might be losing my memory on this. Didn't Broly still have his tail technically?
No,
I mean,
he did not have a tail. Like when they met up with Frieza, he specifically says, "Oh, one with the tail and one without a tail." I wonder what that's about.
Okay, then never mind on that.
Yeah, you told him that he took it off. So
yeah, okay. But
anyways, I also think it's cool that during this one scene, when they're explaining the color, it's like Broly's about to beat some guy up, and his dad's just like, "Nope, calm down, Sonny boy," and then presses the button, and then of course, Green Girl, I can't remember her name,
Chili.
It's basically Chili, kind of.
Yeah, Chili.
She just kind of swipes it from him and then destroys it, and then they go and learn more about Broly as he like chows down on a million of those fucking chocolate bar things, I guess.
Oh yeah, like a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah. Wait, doesn't he? Was it before Chili destroys the shot color? Because I keep thinking it was after.
It's after she destroys the remote.
When Broly explains about the pelt.
Explains about his backstory.
Yeah, it's after. Yeah.
I also think it's funny that like he never drank waters, but he's like, "Oh, water's good."
Like, yeah, what is this stuff? Like, that's just plain water, dude.
Yeah, it's plain water. It's healthy, Broly.
I mean, it's possible that the planet he was on didn't produce water, but produced some other kind of liquid that could suffice in place of water.
Yeah, like the guts of those like bug alien things. It might have been like some other liquid in them or something.
It's funny because later on in the movie, what's her name says it tastes sour, and I'm just like, I wonder what that tastes like. I wonder if it's like a sour pork kind of taste or like a sour candy kind of taste. I want to know. The Dragon Ball marketing department.
Yeah, just make one of those bugs and like put it in a container, like a gummy one. Just like put like juice in there or something.
And then put juice in it. There you go. Free advertisement. Free marketing idea. But
Broly snacks.
Broly snacks. Broly worms. They're Brolylicious. So yeah, and it's interesting because you can see that Broly can he can speak totally fine, like he like a regular being. He just doesn't talk to people other than his dad that often, so he doesn't talk a lot. This is the first time we're getting to see him converse. So anyway,
sentences.
Yeah. So anyways, finally the Z Warriors, or our heroes, I guess, I don't know, catch up with the Frieza Force men who found the last ball, and they're like, nope, we'll be taking that. And then Frieza shows up and says, nope, I'll be taking that. And now he has all the Dragon Balls.
Yep. Meanwhile, while Goku and Vegeta think, oh, immortality, we know the real reason.
Oh, yeah. It's like, they're going to use that for like some crazy nefarious purposes.
I think the other thing, too, I'll just mention this real quick, why maybe immortality isn't as looked at, is there might be something that says that the God Key is stronger than immortality, so you might be able to still kill somebody even if they're immortal.
Oh, yeah. I could just explain this right now, actually, why immortality will not help you in the long run. One person, Beerus, technically.
They wasted Beerus in this movie.
I know, but
yeah,
I love that he has to babysit Bulla.
Yeah, but there was technically almost no need for Beerus in this. But anyway, like I was saying, because I'm going back to Super on this during the Goku Black arc, where Beerus, I'm going to be doing another one, Grand Zeno, as well. Because in the alternate future, like, Zamasu killed Beerus when he was immortal, but he technically like a sucker punch thing before that Beerus could realize. And in like the present time, Beerus kills Zamasu because, he already knows what's going on. He's going to stop this before then. And then, multiverse theory. Just pretty much future Zeno, when Zamasu, had fused with Goku Black and technically half mortal, and then Zamasu was just like engulfing the entire universe. Zeno just like, I don't want to like a click of the fingers, snap of the fingers or anything like Thanos. He was just like more, I think it was like a thought and just wiped out the entire universe that Zamasu was consuming.
Yeah, and maybe that's why like Frieza doesn't want to be immortal because, well, I can still be erased. Which is not.
Yeah, they proven that like anybody can be like erased and stuff. Like even
technically,
like,
if you're killed, you'd still exist in some form. But if you're erased, it's like being put into being like a Yu-Gi-Oh card being removed from play. It's not. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you're done. So yeah, he could have explained that. Frieza could have explained that too in his explanation, which technically I'm glad he didn't. It was just like. His explanation was he had already suffered immortality and that kind of thing and that kind of hell, and that's why he didn't want to do it. But in the back of his mind, he'd probably be thinking, and even if I tried it, Beerus would try to kill me. Immortality is bullshit.
So one thing I want to say is I like Goku and Vegeta's cool ass jackets.
Oh yeah,
those are pretty cool.
It's green, and I love green.
Yeah, that was.
So anyways, Broly gets sicked on Vegeta. And what's great about this fight is we finally get to see Vegeta go Super Saiyan God, not just Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, the red Super Saiyan God, like the base Super Saiyan God form.
Because
Yeah.
my thought I always thought the reason he skipped it is because they needed the whole ceremony to unlock Goku's, but maybe they and somehow he skipped it, kind of like he skipped Super Saiyan 3.
Right.
But it's interesting to see that you don't need the ritual. Maybe once it's unlocked, it can be unlocked across the universe. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think going back a little bit, like they did base form fight. Then they okay, this is amping up a bit. All right, let me show the Super Saiyan. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute, you can go Super Saiyan? Paragus and Broly are like that's the stuff from Legend. What's going on here? And then Frieza's like, wait, you mean you guys can't go Super Saiyan? No? Like, oh, wow, that's a pity.
Yeah, I do find that's one of the funniest things about this. Paragus is all in shock. He's like, oh my god, Vegeta can go Super Saiyan?
Like Prince Vegeta's the legendary Super Saiyan? From Legend?
And then, since we're talking about Goku as well, and, he found out about Goku as well, he's just like, yeah, there you go. And over here, Frieza's just like, really?
No, well, I mean, I guess that's the best you guys could do. I thought this was going to be more exciting. But that's when things start amping up. Even as a Super Saiyan, Broly's already pushing back Vegeta again. He's learning as he's fighting Vegeta. It's like, okay, this is a Super Saiyan stuff. I can match that on my own right now. And he starts matching up with the Super Saiyan. No transformation, still just regular Broly going up against Super Saiyan Vegeta, which pushes it up to the point where Vegeta has to go Super Saiyan God. He doesn't even bother with okay, I'm going to go Super Saiyan 2. He doesn't even do that. No, just skips right over to Super Saiyan God, the red form Super Saiyan. Because it's okay, Broly is strong enough to take this. This is warranting enough that I have to do this. And that's when Broly starts getting pushed back again.
And the other interesting thing I want to bring up as well is that, that's interesting because Broly is stronger than they are base form wise, even when they become Super Saiyans. So the fact that he has to rely on God, Vegeta has to rely on God Ki is interesting because that's the only thing that's really going to push it back.
Oh yeah.
And then this is where things get a little messy for me in remembering things.
Yeah,
but,
I gotcha.
I know Goku hops in at some point.
Okay.
This is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. There is some parts before Goku hops in.
Mm-hmm. It's just as Vegeta Super Saiyan God, he pretty much pushes Broly back and goes to the limit, and he's just like, what a waste. And just blasts him, and Goku's like, Vegeta, don't! Mm-hmm. And just, because I think it was either before or after Goku. No, it was way before Goku. And before Vegeta was firing Paragus, it was just like, Broly, come on back!
And they're like, okay, Frieza's already well, this was a darn shame. I think you guys can refine yourself, maybe turn Super Saiyan at a later date. Let's retreat from here, and we'll come back later when you guys are stronger.
Yeah.
Frieza himself is don't worry, we'll get out of here. You guys can go learn how to do Super Saiyan. You see what that is now. We could probably come back another time.
Yeah, you can.
We got the Dragon Ball. We're good.
Yeah, we can train. You all can train to be that, and blah 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 blah. And Paragus is
like, okay, time to crawl back Broly, and then tries reaching in for that control device. But then we realize because this is something that happened earlier. Chi-Lai, after seeing the device being used for Broly, when they were encountering that one jerk in the Frieza Force, she actually stole the device, destroyed it, so there's nothing there controlling Broly at all anymore. And then Paragus is like, oh, crud, well, we can't bring back Broly. He's like, the device, there's no remote anymore. And Broly's starting to already get more enraged, tapping into the Great Ape already. So he's trying to he's losing his sense of self while fighting Super Saiyan God Vegeta, which, as he's going more into his rage, more into his primal instincts, actually matching up with Super Saiyan God Vegeta. But, no precise control on there. It's he's already giving in to the ape rage in his base form, which is already starting to, be up to par with Super Saiyan God Vegeta.
That's the thing too. We have to say that he's unhinged. He doesn't have control over his own power.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a berserker form. Maybe that's why he's able to keep up.
Like, if we do, like, an X-Men parallel, because, again, like, technically Broly's a mutant, he's, like, going into the Berserker rage that Wolverine does, kind of.
Yeah. I was going to say, back that up a few seconds, because when he was calling back Broly, he didn't go for the thing straight away. He was just, like, calling back Broly, and when Vegeta blasts him and everything, and Broly was starting to get that rage flare up more, Paragus was still shouting for him to calm down and come back, and he was just like, okay, now I don't have a choice. He goes to reach for it, and it was like, what the fuck? Where is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm going into too much detail on this. Maybe because, like, I'm just a huge Dragon Ball fan as well, and I feel like I'm trying to correct everything because we all saw the movie.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in here. Because trust me, like this fight, it's like, okay, he's Super Saiyan. Okay, he's Super Saiyan Red now. These fights are going super fast. It's like hard to keep track of everything that happened during just the fight between Broly and Vegeta. Because like Vegeta's going through like transformations left and right and stuff, and Broly just keeps on getting stronger in power. So it's like quick cuts. It's like also amazing too because it's like you're really super focused in on the fight because they go through like different like animation styles and stuff. It's crazy.
Oh
like,
yeah,
what the animators did with these fights in this. Because another thing to note, like I found this out, the main animator who normally helps out with the Dragon Ball movies and stuff, he was not on board with this one. They got a completely different like animation team to work on this and different like art styles being thrown in there throughout the movie.
Yeah, but I was also going to say, since we're talking about the animation and pretty much, I think, the length of the movie, unless this is true, because I've been hearing it as a rumor, that the movie, they were trying to shoot to get it to 3 hours long, just so they could tell the story.
It wasn't necessary. I think the movie was in length.
Yeah.
Like I guess if they wanted to do it, I mean, I guess they could have like the way they would do it is like make it like two separate things because I almost felt like the beginning part of the movie, like the flashback, almost felt like its own separate special, just giving everybody their backstory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That almost felt like oh, this could be its own movie, but then like the flashback ends and eventually you get to the now, which itself can also be self-contained if you already saw the thing beforehand. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But I was also going to say as well, because some people say, even though most of us said, and we do admit this, that it was a great movie, some people are saying it kind of felt rushed in some places, and I was just thinking in my head.
We'll get to that near the end.
I'm rambling again. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to remember though, because I
think the next thing that happens is Goku starts fighting him.
Well. Didn't Vegeta go into blue though? Like I forget. He went into blue.
No, he didn't go into blue yet.
Oh right. Because I'm wondering. I'm trying to remember. Like when did Vegeta go into blue? Was that like after Goku or before?
Later.
Later.
Okay.
So Goku hops in and he's fighting him, and then as this fight's going on, the ice is turning into. They're getting to a volcanic level of it. So it becomes like almost like a part of the planet core is erupting up, and then. Frieza's just like, you know what, this is taking too long. Goodbye, and then kills fucking Paragus.
Oh wait, no.
We are skipping.
There's like some stuff before that though.
Yeah.
Before that,
I'll tell you what. Can I cover the Goku one where he's talking to Broly, and you can cover the blue one? Where Goku
we're
goes.
All covering it.
I mean, basically, because like there is a thing between him and Goku, because like another emphasis points the difference between the original. There's practically no relationship between Broly and Goku at that point in time, other than like, oh wow, this guy's super strong and he just defeated Vegeta.
Yeah, but I was
that's like a huge major difference because he's always like Kakarot, like in the original Broly and stuff. In this one, he's just like super rage monster getting revenge on Vegeta. Mainly Vegeta because like Frieza was like, no, don't touch Goku, he's mine. Yeah, and that's how he was taught by his dad, by Paragus. When Goku was in Super Saiyan God form and him and Broly were fighting, there was this one point where Goku, I don't even know if they said the move, but he was doing like this sort of technique to freeze Broly in place. And he just starts talking to him like he was like best friends with him. He's like, I know you're not a bad guy. You're just good. Oh yeah, right. He's like, you don't have to fight if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like it's peaceful times. You can totally like become better than what you are. Like he's like actually has like a conversation with Broly, trying to like persuade him out of like, hey, like you don't have to be super rage monster.
He was trying to calm him down.
Yeah, and it looked like it was working for a while because you could tell by Broly's eyes he was like listening. But again, that great ape, he had been it so many times it pretty much infused with his normal Saiyan body. Like, he's trying to control it, but it's just like, it has gone beyond. And he can't barely control it. And after Goku explains and everything, Broly breaks free and just beats the living shit out of Goku.
Yeah, like he also goes red too at some point, and it's like, that's not working.
Yeah, he was just like, because this is why I'm saying you were skipping out on a lot of stuff, Zero. When Goku was down, he was just, Piccolo telepathically talks to him.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, Goku, this is like really ramped up here. Are you doing okay? I mean, I can tell you're in like God form and something still isn't right here.
Yeah, and he just like, be on guard, we may need your help.
Yeah, he's like, Piccolo's like, can I do anything? He's like, yeah, Piccolo, if you're here, you might like be more in the way, but just in case, be ready if I need to call you.
Yeah, be ready if I need to call you or do instant transmission. And then that's when Goku, or it might be in a few minutes later, where he goes into Super Saiyan Blue form. Or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, whichever one, flip a coin. And then that's when the fight just fucking ramps the fuck up. And then that's where that animation was just getting there, and I was enjoying it. Anyway, how close are we to nearing to where, again, Frieza and Paragus?
Oh, okay. I think that's like once he goes like blue and stuff. Like Frieza's like asking him like, yeah, you guys really can't do like Super Saiyan or anything. Like, there's no way of getting Broly out of this. Might as well fall through and see how far we could ramp this up or see how far this can go.
Yeah, because
so like he's remembering Super Saiyan, huh? Then he remembers back to like Goku transformed into Super Saiyan because he killed Krillin. So it's like, he had to like experience something tragic, huh?
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't worry, I'll figure out a way how to like save your boy or like make sure Broly's okay.
And then, pew.
Then he shoots Paragus, and he's like, oh my god, Broly, one of those laser beams killed your dad.
Yeah.
What will you ever do? And then
Broly goes fucking insane.
Broly goes crazy and insane. An exact parallel to, like, the same way. They even, like, redid the graphics almost in the same way of, like, when Goku went Super Saiyan, where, like, suddenly there's, like, a negative circle zone surrounding him, like an aura, like a super circle aura that just keeps on changing the colors of the background and stuff. As Broly gets, like, super angry, seeing, like, oh my god, my dad's dead. Like, he starts going crazy, like, over that fact. And then he unlocks Super Saiyan while in his rage mode.
Oh, yeah. He finally becomes Super Saiyan. He knew, like, like the first non-canon movie, where Broly, when he was younger, he had already become a Super Saiyan and all that. He just hadn't been enraged enough to become the quote-unquote legendary Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Broly was fighting like he was a Super Saiyan, technically, and then when he saw what happened to his dad, and then he finally became Super Saiyan, and you're just thinking, this does not feel like legendary Super Saiyan, and then yet, it almost looks like it.
Yeah, no, like, he has, like, the crazy green Super Saiyan and stuff, but this is just him in his rage form as a Super Saiyan. Like, this is not like a Super Saiyan 2 or like a special-dairy Super Saiyan form. This is just like his Super Saiyan form.
Yeah, and yet he is still stronger than Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And that's what threw me for a fucking loop. I'm like, holy.
The thing to remember is that Super Saiyan is like a multiplier, and Super Saiyan God, I have to assume, is like a multiplier of God Ki. So you could still be stronger than a god, but it takes a lot of energy, but you still could be. And that's where Broly comes in, because he's just really fucking strong. So
yeah, and because of him pretty much infusing the strength of the great ape, and as soon as he becomes a Super Saiyan, let's just put it on the table, because pretty much Broly went Super Saiyan 1.
Yeah.
For a normal Super Super Saiyan, let's say Goku, what's the multiplier on Super Saiyan 1?
I don't know.
Let's just say, what, 2 times?
I think it's like 100 times or something.
Yeah, at least somewhere up there.
Okay, let's say, all right, 100.
Or it's like 10 times or something. I can't remember.
Is it 10 or 10? Well, let's just say 100 just to be on the safe side.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do that with Broly and, pretty much infusing the Great Ape into his normal Saiyan form. And now, he's getting stronger and everything. Now he's turning into Super Saiyan. You have that 100 times. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And that's what I'm going to call it. You can call it blue. I don't care.
Super Saiyan Blue. Just
whatever.
Master.
All right, I'll try. But anyway, pretty much wipes the floor with Goku as Super Saiyan Blue. And it was just like, you ain't shit.
Mm-hmm. And the fact where Vegeta has to get involved, and the two of them do okay, but they still can't beat. They still can't beat Broly. So
in Super Saiyan 1, which is like, that's the mind-blowing part.
Mm-hmm. So so Goku grabs Vegeta and he instant translocates to Piccolo.
Not yet.
Wait, yeah, because what do you call it? Vegeta and Goku as Super Saiyan Blue were fighting the Super Saiyan Broly.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And
they were doing that, and
before they went away, he does grab. I'm sorry, Jakato.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to say the thing about before he teleports, like what he does to distract Broly?
Yeah, because I'm excited.
Yeah, no, go right ahead. It's pretty funny bit.
It's hard to talk to anybody outside of my, personal life about this movie, and I really want to talk about it. Yeah, he grabs Vegeta, and they're getting chased by Broly, and as soon as he gets to Frieza, he's like, have fun, Frieza! And Frieza's just like, what the fuck? Boom! Broly's just beating the shit out of him!
Right. Mm-hmm. Because Goku planned that because he's like, yeah, Piccolo, be on standby. Because remember, he was talking to Piccolo in his mental thing. He's getting his trace on him, his energy signature, so him and Vegeta could just tell instant transmission right over to Piccolo, recover for a bit, and then yeah, Broly, come over here. Okay, have fun, Frieza. And he teleports, and then right in front of Broly after they teleport is Frieza just standing there oh crud.
And so now he's fighting Frieza. While that's going on, they head over to Piccolo, and they're trying to weigh their options. Piccolo doesn't have any sensu beans, which I'm like, Goku, instant transmission. You can just go right to Korin and ask for more sensu beans and come back. But anyways, they decided their only option was to do fusion.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, considering
we finally get to see that, because in GT and in the one movie, Vegeta knows fusion, so he must have learned from Goku at some point. But this is where I guess he learns it.
Yeah, he actually learns how to do he's aware of it, but this is the first time he's actually learning how to do the pose and stuff. So Goku actually does the tutorial with Piccolo again, from the original Dragon Ball Z.
It's fun because Piccolo is, while he doesn't fuse with anybody, he's pretty much a seasoned fusion expert at this point because he had to teach it to Trunks and Goten. So he and Goku have to try and teach Vegeta in an hour how to do fusion.
Right.
There's a pretty good callback to the Boot Saga with that whole fusion dance too.
Yeah. I was about to say they don't do an hour like they did with the Buu-Saga and Z. The Buu-Saga and Z. If I remember correctly, considering the fact that they pretty much have God Key, it's shortened to 30 minutes.
Well, no, the regular fusion dance. That's just
the fusion dance is 30 minutes.
The fusion dance is 30 minutes. The Batora earrings, they redid that, so it's only an hour.
Yeah, no, I think it's still 30 minutes because when they went blue, it cut.
Yeah, when they use the God Key, but normally when they use the earrings, if they didn't use the God Key.
Yeah, I think the official response is originally Potara was forever. But because God Key was factored into it or being absorbed by Majin Buu, that separates you. Because
no, that's still wrong because they actually explained it in Super before Goku and Vegeta fused into Vegito again. He has, I think it was the Supreme Kai of, was it Universe 9? I can't remember.
Well, why is Vegito Kai in the Battle of the Gods movie?
Why isn't? Because anyway.
Well, yeah, no, because Kabuto Kai was still in there in the actual Dragon Ball Super series. They defused later.
Time limit has to do with God Key.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, they talked about this. I think it's because they're a Kai or above or something. It has to be a Kai specifically for it to be a permanent fusion, but otherwise it'd be like an hour.
Even then,
but like the people, the Kais of Universe 7, they had no idea about that restriction until they talked to like other Universe Kais, which they didn't really do until then.
Yeah, when the other Universe Kai explains it, it's like, oh yeah, for Kais it's permanent unless find a way. But for like regular humans, if you use the Potara earrings, it's pretty much an hour.
Either way, that's not important.
Anyway, going back to the whole training thing, so they're learning how to do the fusion. Well, Frieza is getting beat up by Broly. Tries going to Golden Frieza. Ha! Look at this, Golden Frieza, and then he's still getting beat up by Broly. But during this time, Piccolo's still teaching him, they're trying to do the fusion, but Vegeta's the one who's messing up the timing or messing up the hand signs and stuff. So they actually do a callback a little bit to Dragon Ball Z movie 13, where they turn into the fat failed fusion and the skinny fusions and stuff, which is sometimes referred to in by fans as Viku, the failed Goku and Vegeta fusions. It's nope, your hands are off. You gotta wait another 30 minutes. Nope, we got the skinny one. You gotta try again until they eventually get Gogeta right, and then you finally get the canon version of Gogeta, where he's oh, okay, so what am I gonna call myself? Because the other one was Vegito.
With the Potara earrings.
With the Potara earrings, I gotta come up with a different name for this one. What would that be? Maybe Gogeta, or it goes through a couple of different variations of the name, fusing Vegeta and Goku together. That's different than Vegito before settling on Gogeta.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to correct you. It was movie 12.
Well, oh, right. Yeah. No, 13's the one with the...
Yeah,
with the Dragon Punch and stuff. But movie 12, the one with Janemba.
Yeah, the one with Janemba.
But so Gogeta is in, and he goes back and fights. Goes back to fight Broly, and somewhere in the fight, Broly does go into. I think he does go into Legendary Super Saiyan because his hair turns green.
No, that's just regular Super Saiyan.
Yeah, no,
just for Broly.
Actually, wait. I think I might be able to explain this a little bit, but I have to go back a bit. When Gogeta comes to the battlefield, Frieza, he's already beaten the shit up. He's still in his golden form, but he's smacked into the was it the wall? Not the wall, the concrete,
mountain.
The mountain.
Yep.
And Gogeta comes in. Frieza's just pretty much who the fuck are you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Frieza has no idea what the fusion technique is. Oh right, you've been dead for some time. Yeah, this is a thing. Fusion.
Yeah,
hi, I'm Gogeta.
Yeah,
how's it going?
We are Gogeta. A fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and Frieza's is the fuck. It's we'll deal with you later. We gotta deal with Broly. And then they continue the fight, and you see Gogeta transforming into regular Super Saiyan. Saiyan. I'm excited. I'm mixing up my words.
Nah, it's fine.
Anyway, Gogeta goes Super Saiyan, and just the two are just fighting, and the fighting is legit intense.
Oh yeah, this is cool too, because they actually, before, Gogeta can't really do any other transformations. If you watch the video games, it's you can only go into Super Saiyan, no other transformations until they show GT, where he goes into 4, so he skips over stuff. But they specifically have it so, okay, here's base form Gogeta, here's Super Saiyan Gogeta, here's Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. They purposely put the other forms in there, so it's hey, video games and other spin-offs, you can use these. Go ahead. It's free to do it. Because before, in the movies and stuff, they were oh, nope, he's only in Super Saiyan form. You don't have regular Gogeta, because we never seen that on the screen. Yeah. But now, because of this, the way how they did it, no, yeah, here, fine. Here, have regular Gogeta. Here's Super Saiyan Gogeta. Here's Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. You can totally use that in video games now.
Yeah. But I also was going to say, when I was saying, the fighting was getting so intense, it looked like it was starting to break reality too. Because it was going through more different art forms, and it was just wow. It was just so freaking cool. I was just mesmerized by it. And it it looked like they had just went through lava and stuff too. And it was like mirrors were breaking, and all this time they were just beating the living shit out of each other.
Yeah, it's almost like Broly himself being in Super Saiyan because of the way how his like aura field is, and almost like made everything like a negative zone or like some kind of like crazy thing with the lighting.
They were so powerful that they went into another dimension.
We can go with that. We can technically go into that. And then during it,
they went to the next dimension.
Oh yeah, like it was in another dimension.
That's basically what I was referencing.
Yeah. Too bad it's Sunday. Otherwise, those buildings would be filled tomorrow. Anyway, going back to the movie.
Yeah, thank God they did this in the Arctic. Otherwise, no rest of the planet Earth.
Oh yeah, rest of the planet.
Oh yeah, no. Maybe during all this, we don't know about this, but later they had to get the Dragon Balls again because during the fight they melt the polar ice caps and just completely flooded
So,
the planet. I mean, like rip ice caps because by the time they're done, it's like just almost regular rock by then. There's like no ice left.
Yeah. I was going to say because I'm going to get to the. I'm sorry.
While this fight is going on, the new characters, fuck it, I don't care. Green Girl,
Chilai and Lima.
I don't care, guys. It's Green Girl. She steals the Dragon Balls and forces them to make a wish. While this is going on, Gogeta is using, I guess it's the Kamehameha. There was some weird thing with
okay. He uses the soul thingy from like movie 12 that he uses on Janemba actually in this movie. So that move is also canon too.
Yeah.
The move,
for some reason in this movie they didn't say the attack names, or when they said them, it was weird. Like, because at one point Goku and Vegeta were back to back doing Kamehameha and Gallic Gun.
Right.
Oh yeah,
it was actually a cool moment.
Yeah.
So they use the attack, and it looks like Broly's just about to eat it when they get their wish, and he gets transported to the planet that he was on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple things more in there, I think. Like, Like, for example, like when Gogeta really is fighting Broly and stuff, the techniques he's using, they don't actually put any names on it. Much like in the movie where they actually had Gogeta in it. Like, he actually uses the same move that he used on Janemba, but like just like that, they didn't actually have like a real name for the attack. They only named it in like the video games and stuff.
Yeah.
But they still use the same attack on him, which is like, okay, so they made that move canon. Huh?
What's the name of the attack?
Like something like Soul Cleanse, like some kind of like
Soul Cleanser.
Yeah, like something like that. And then I think I saw some other comments after watching the movie. They're saying, the reason why it didn't really work so well on Broly like it did on Janemba was because Broly isn't really like evil. It worked on Janemba super well because like he's the evil energy being focused in on there. So it didn't really cleanse his soul. Air quotes again, but like it still did a lot on him. But he's still able to power through it. But even more so, like an interesting thing too is normally when they have like Gogeta in like video games, they use like Big Bang, Kamehameha, or like some kind of like mix between their attacks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like Gogeta in this, he's just straight up using a regular Kamehameha that's like super strong, but just a regular Kamea.
Yeah, I was going to back up to where, what you're saying, Zero, about, Broly doing that pose like he was going Legendary Super Saiyan. I mean, I could technically count that as it because it's going back to the throwback at the first non-canon movie. Because he is now buffed up and everything.
Well, here's going into the thing again with Super and stuff. Because the thing is, they don't actually say he's the legendary Super Saiyan in this.
No.
The thing is, this is still like new Dragon Ball Super timeline stuff. He's like almost where the one character, like everybody calling, the female Broly was.
Oh yeah, Kale
stuff. Yeah, that's like almost the same transformation, just enhanced by Broly being a mutant Saiyan.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, I'm surprised Goku and Vegeta just didn't remember that. Just like, oh wait a minute, that's that one thing the female Saiyan from Universe 6 did. Oh crap, kind of stuff like that. But and then unless I'm wrong, and this is going back to the non-canon movie of how Goku finished off Broly with that punch. That was a callback to that. Minus the killing Broly.
Oh yeah, they tried doing the same thing on him, and it just didn't work this time.
Yeah. Now going back to Gogeta doing the Kamehameha, which now
just regular Kamehameha, just right there.
And it makes it twice as funny because first off, he's in, it's like Goku fused with Vegeta thanks to the fusion dance, and it's basically in a way Vegeta is landing.
Also, I think like just backpacking a little bit more. Like I think they already established because they also show Canon Gogeta's personality. I think the fusion dance thing, like when they do that, they're always like show offy because he's actually almost like an older Gotenks talking. Like when he's talking with like Piccolo, or when they're trying to come up with like the name for the fusion between Goku and Vegeta. So it's like the different fusion techniques also affect the personality, I think.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Gotenks where they were just like super cocky and shit. Because
because they know how serious the situation was. But like right before he goes into the fight, he's like, like cause you can definitely tell the difference between Gogeta and Vegito, their base personality.
Well, because when they come up with the name Gogeta, they're like, well, that name sounds cool.
Yeah. So technically,
you're trying to go for style points rather than like being super serious like Vegito was.
Yeah. And even then, Vegito, even though he was super serious, it still didn't feel like it because he was just wasting time when they were fighting Boo. And maybe somewhat against Goku Black / Fuse Zamasu. Somewhat. But with Gogeta, they were just like, okay, got the name, got my cockiness out of the way, let's get this done.
Right.
Kind of deal. And it's like, we're not going to do like a big names of Kamehameha. We can fuse Gallic Gun and Kamehameha together. It'll just do the pose.
We'll come up with the logistics later. Let's just do a Kamea right now.
Yeah, we'll just fuse Garlic Gun, Gallic Gun. I said Garlic Gun.
I mean, that's
Dang it abridged.
Like Japan.
Yeah, dang it abridged. It's like, let's just fuse. Probably in their minds is like, let's just fuse Gallic Gun and Kamehameha together. We'll just do the pose of the Kamehameha, and I'll just scream the name out like Goku usually does. And
the pose is slightly different though because Kamehameha is like this, and they were going like this.
Oh yeah, you're right. So
and
it's
like Kamehameha, but like it's still a different.
Yeah,
it's like some kind of variant. It has like a Vegeta flair to it.
Yeah, it does. And now it makes me laugh a little bit because I actually want to see somebody. Well, if Super comes back to TV form.
I'm pretty sure it is going to do it at some point because, like, I'm not sure if you guys have been reading the Dragon Ball Super manga, but there's a current arc going on that takes place right after the Broly movie.
Nice.
That's another thing to bring up. The Broly movie is canon to the Dragon Ball Super manga.
Yeah.
But the movie itself eliminates stuff like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan with Kaioken or Ultra Instinct. They never bring any of that up. Base Blue form because Blue is the ultimate form featured in the manga itself.
Yeah, and
they never go beyond regular Blue.
Yeah, I got a feeling they're going to work their way into that one. Anyway, I was going to say
it's interesting because anytime like I bring up the fact that the Super anime is going to come back, my friend of mine says, "Well, there's these articles that say it's not going to happen," and it's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Look at how popular Dragon Ball is now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dragon Ball.
I might call it like because in Japan they're like, oh yeah, we finished the season, but now we're Dragon Ball Super 2 or Dragon Ball like Super Extreme, like they add another subtitle to it or something, and it's technically a completely different series or something.
They'll probably do that.
I was going to say, or they could just call it Dragon Ball Super Z. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying about as I was trying to finish my thought, and I'm sorry for interrupting and all that. I now, for the second series, let's just go with that. I now want to see Vegeta, defused and him legit trying to do the Kamehameha.
Yeah, that is a very good question though. Like how much of because like when they're fused, they got like a shared memory bank type thing. How much of that carries over when they're unfused? I wonder.
Yeah, that just brings.
I don't think they bring that up like too often.
Yeah, because I know when they were Vegito, you could have technically done it that way, but it might have like a different set of rules.
It's probably not going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised because Piccolo knows the Kamehameha.
Yeah, like a lot of the Kamehameha, the Kamea. I can't talk now. The Kamea is actually a pretty easy technique. I mean, like even Yamcha and like Krillin know how to do it, and I'm pretty sure Tien could do it if he wanted to.
Yeah, so I would just love to see it. It's just like Vegeta now knows technically how to do it after they defuse, and he's like, while he's training, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna try Kakarot's technique. Maybe it might be stronger than my Gallic gun.
Well, here's the other thing that's interesting too. What if when they're fused, all these times they're fused, Vegeta is secretly learning how to do the Kaioken?
Oh yeah,
and he can't figure out how to do it properly, so he wants to learn it from King Kai.
Yeah. That's what he finds out about all this stuff, and he's like, how the hell do I go to this King Kai's planet? And stuff like that. Anyway, I'm sorry, Zero. I'm just excited. I can't help it. Go on.
Yeah, no, it's a really good movie.
I swear to God, Oni, if you don't stop apologizing, I'm going to do something.
Do something?
Right, you want me to be a douchebag?
No, I just want you to stop apologizing.
I know, but it's your podcast, man. I can't.
Yeah, but I'm the Canadian here, and you're apologizing more than I am.
Yeah. It's coming from a redneck. Anyway.
So they do their attacks, and Broly gets sent back to the planet he was on. And
because of Chi-Lai and Limo taking the Dragon Balls from the other Frieza guys, and like, to grant the wishes.
And then they go try. Since they know where the planet is, they head back and go to him.
Actually, now that I think about it, this actually leads me to like some questions and stuff, because I think they established that I'm not sure if they changed this up for the manga version of Dragon Ball Super or anything, but aren't the Dragon Balls supposed to have like multiple wishes on there? They only did like one wish in this.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering when they were using the balls. Maybe it eventually like got back. Shenron was just like, you know what, I'm tired of doing two wishes.
They like go back to the one wish on the Dragon Balls, because like I'm pretty sure like in the series itself, Dragon Ball Super, like no, they still got multiple wishes on this thing. I think that was even a major plot point in Resurrection Frieza, where it's like, the first wish was to bring back Frieza, the second like wish was used by like the Pilaf gang and stuff.
Wait a minute, I got it. I think I can figure this out.
Or like bring back Frieza, but
yeah.
Is this going to be a long-winded explanation? Because
no,
we really get moving on.
No, it's going to be short. I'm thinking in between after Universal Survival and Broly, they did find the Dragon Balls and they did have two wishes, but they only used
the half wishes,
the half wishes.
Yeah, the one like, okay, yep, we got one wish. Wait another 6 months, and you can use the other one.
Yeah, just wait 6 months.
Yeah, okay, now that makes sense.
Or if I'm going back to one of the filler episodes of Super, because they only did one wish because of Gohan and Pan. There you go.
Yeah, true. Because I forgot. Yeah, that's a thing. They could just like make a wish. Then, all right, save it for later, come back in another 6 months, use the other wish, then wait another 6 months and you get your wishes back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
There.
Okay, that would make sense. But they didn't acknowledge the fact that there was any other wishes or that they did that previously. That's the only thing that's got me wondering that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that is a way to explain it, but I wish they would have, I wished they would have, acknowledge the fact that there's normally other wishes on here, or
I was hoping earlier on when she's like, I wish there's something we could do, that the Dragon Balls just activate, and it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. No, that's what I was already thinking. Wait, the Dragon Ball's gonna activate right now.
Yeah. But anyways, they go back. They find their way back to the planet to meet up with Broly, and I guess they decide that we're now wanted by both the Galactic Police and the Frieza. We're going to be wanted by the Frieza Force.
I'm using the Dragon Ball.
We'll just stay here and camp out for a while. And then Goku comes by and like, hey, how's it going, guys? You want to have barbecue?
Oh yeah, right. They're camping out on the planet. They got some supplies on them because they basically betrayed the Frieza Force. Like, can't go back to the Frieza Force. Can't go over here because we're wanted by the patrolman. I guess we're living with Broly. That'll offer some protection because Frieza's not.
I love how they're still wearing their scouters during this, so people can definitely hear them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think that's how they also tracked them back to Broly's planet. They're like, hey, where are they right now? Now they're back on this planet.
Yeah,
scouters and stuff.
Yeah, but Frieza leaves them alone.
They leaves them alone because, okay, maybe we'll come back later if these guys figure out how to calm down Broly. We can actually use Broly for some other purpose.
Yeah. But I know, going back a little bit before that, when Chi-Lai was escaping in the ship, Frieza was about to shoot it down. Gogeta was like, hell no.
Yeah.
And then there's just the stereotypical villain thing of, yeah, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you next
I don't know
time.
when, but I'll be back.
Yeah.
You'll be
I'll
ready.
get you next time.
I'll be Bach. Sebastian Bach.
And then, now we go to, Goku coming to the planet. He's like, hey!
Oh, yeah, he instant transmissions over there, and then that freaks them out because they've never seen anything like that before. Like, where the heck is your ship? How'd you get here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also
okay, we're still enemies and stuff. What's your angle here? Like, oh, no angle. I just got all these capsules with living quarters, food, and hot water in it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense that they're not too fond of Goku at the moment, even though they did betray Frieza.
Yeah, it's like we're not part of Frieza anymore, but we're not exactly your friends either.
Yeah, because you still fought Broly. So,
But Broly's like, that Goku guy's a good guy still.
yeah, Broly.
And then I love just as he's about their leave, they're like, wait, what's your name? He's like, I'm Goku, but Broly, you can call me Kakarot.
Oh
Yeah.
okay, that is a major point too, because like I've seen people talk about this. This is actually the first time Goku fully acknowledges and is proud of his Saiyan name.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tells somebody to go, no, you call me Kakarot.
It's like,
normally he's like, no, I'm against the Saiyan nature. I am not a regular Saiyan thing. Always call me Goku. But in this one, he's like totally telling Broly, no, call me Kakarot, which is another major point too. Broly never says Kakarot in the movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
Which is the one line that everybody thinks about when they think of Broly.
I think the thing is though, he doesn't know who Goku was.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all for
Goku
him.
was pretty much supplanted by Vegeta throughout the whole entire movie because the Paragus get like, oh, we're going against the Vegetas and stuff. Like, that's your thing, revenge against Vegetas. Because in this one, Broly in the same, like, baby chamber thing as, like, Vegeta is, there was no connection between Broly and Goku until they fought.
Yep.
yeah. And
Which
that's
is really surprising. It's like the anti Broly from what we know.
oh yeah, definitely.
Which is a huge improvement, to be honest, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
So
the best.
It's like they're becoming friendly rivals, where it's like they're actually coming up with like they're building a natural relationship between Goku and Broly in this, based off of like, hey, you're pretty good. Hey, you're pretty good too.
Yeah. Like you said, instead of, he's like, Broly's motivation, is he hate Kakarot because he cried and he's screaming Kakarot. Broly never learned Goku's Saiyan name. And he might have heard somebody say Goku's name, as Goku. But it's like, as soon as Goku turns to Broly after he tells his Earth name to Chilai, he looks at Broly, he's like, but Broly? And I think he gives him a thumbs up. You can call me Kakarot.
Yeah.
And
So,
Because again, like even after that, I was expecting, is he going to say Kakarot? And they end like, no, he does not say it in the movie. Which is like, wow, okay, that is very surprising. Not even once, I don't think.
So I with that, I don't think there's much more to say about just going along the story of the movie. I think we're near the end here.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. They're like Broly's like kind of like living with the two Frieza traders and like doing his own thing. Frieza's doing his own thing, and then Goku and Vegeta back to doing their own thing. It's kind of like
and cut to Beerus with Bulla.
oh yeah.
You forgot, like Beerus still on Resort Island looking after the baby because Bulma and Whis went to go bring Goku and Vegeta to get that Dragon Ball.
Yeah. So Bulma and Whis serve no purpose either.
Yeah.
Other than bringing Goku and Vegeta into the Arctic and find the Frieza Force.
Yeah.
And so I think before we get into our full final thoughts here, I have a few things with this movie, a few criticisms. Because I generally like the movie.
Yeah.
But I have a few criticisms about it. First off, the music in this movie, I don't know what they did to it, but they fucking ruined it.
Yeah, like
the effect on it, and
you're mainly focusing on the fight. I cannot pull out like a track that like really stood out, like an unusual Dragon Ball
they
thing.
did this weird voice thing where they kept saying the characters' names too, and it's just
oh yeah,
that
Gogeta, like That's his song? Literally just saying Gogeta?
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but...
And it's funny, because I don't know what they did. They put some effect on it, because there was one sequence where I could hear like a guitar part or something from like Maximum the Hormone or something, but the rest of it was like it was this weird echoey effect, and they started saying the name. It was just bad, and I'm like, why would you do this?
Gogeta. It's like they're trying to do like a Go Ninja Go, but it's not as catchy or memorable. It's like, yeah, I completely forgot about like any musical beats in there, other than the fact that the song had their name as they were fighting.
I mean, if they were going to cheap out on the music, why wouldn't they just use shit from Super and from the other movie, and just use stuff like the Ultimate Battle theme from, because the guy who plays from the guys who sings the Gavin theme and the O's metal themes, like the Putotira theme and stuff like that, because that guy sings the Ultimate Battle theme for Dragon Ball Super. Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't just reuse that if they were going to be cheap about it.
Yeah,
that's really a good song.
Actually,
like literally, I can't. If you were to ask me to like bring up a track or something, the only thing I can really remember maybe is when Broly's being somber and telling his backstory. But other than that, like the music is kind of like I forgot about it because I'm like too focusing on the fight. It's not anything that stood out or anything.
Yeah.
Like there was a song where it says Gogeta over, and I think there's like another song where they just say Broly over. Other than that,
it was really distracting because I was trying to focus in on the music and I couldn't, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why do they do this?
Because usually there's like a cool music swell when something cool is happening in like Dragon Ball movies, but in this one it's like
perfect example, Battle of the Gods, when they used the insert song. Like that was perfectly timed, and I thought they would do the same thing in this movie, but they didn't really have if their insert song was that weird echoey thing, that was really lame.
The only thing I can think of that like really stood out, I guess, in terms of music, if you really want to bring it up, is like they did like a brief couple notes of Chala Head Shala at the beginning, where it's like where the flashback ends.
Yeah,
I liked that. That was probably the best track.
Good.
But I was
and after that, I can't for the love of me, I can't remember any of the other music.
Yeah,
it was forgettable. Also, sorry, Owen, did you want to say something about the music?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I will admit it is a little weird, but like crap, I'm trying. Like Jakato said, I was focusing more on the fights. I mean, I would be able to hear it a couple of times, like Gogeta or like Broly or Goku.
Another sound thing I'll say is that a couple of times, and flashback to anybody who's a fan of Mega Man Abridged, I'm pretty sure they used the whoosh sound I used to use that went like the really generic sound I used.
I used the same thing too, man.
like it was like a really it wasn't like a it was like a wow.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I used it all the time back then, but it was like, why the fuck did they use that sound? It's almost like some of the sound effects were like from like a sound library or something.
Right, they should have had access to like a better like sound library. Why they use that?
He has a infamous sound pack that ask anybody who makes parody stuff on the internet or videos on the internet. People have used that sound pack.
Oh yeah.
They had access to a breath of sound, and I'm like, why the fuck did they use like cheap like whooshing sound effects when they have their own whooshing sound effects that sound better?
The iconic whoosh from Dragon Ball. They kept
using it. I kept hearing that and it took me back to the days when I was like, oh man, I remember when I overused this exact sound effect in my show.
Yeah.
Like
no, dude, I am right up there with you. Like stuff I edited. Like, I need a whoosh here. Okay, I got the whoosh that everybody in early bridging was using.
Yeah.
Literally taken from somebody else's episode.
Yeah. I was going to say, going back to, my thoughts on the music. And I want to go back to a throwback thing to the non-canon movie because, when I got the DVD, all I got was like the dub only. And then they had like music from metal bands and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Early Dragon Ball movies, they just redid the entire music and from like metal bands and stuff.
Yeah, but the more familiar was the first Broly movie. And there was one song, when Broly had transformed into the legendary Super Saiyan. I remember the song. I know the name. Pantera Tens. That song is badass. I love that song. I kind of wished, in a way, that they would have, like, Funimation, Toei would have paid a little more instead of using, like, the Gogeta thing. Like, they would just try and get the license from some of these metal bands, like, for example, Metallica, AC/DC, or Slayer.
Okay, that is something pretty surprising too, because usually in these movies they hire on like a new band or some kind of like new.
Well, if you remember, because Flo did the Battle of Hero or whatever it was called for Battle of the Gods movie, and then they got Hormone to do Frieza's theme. But they didn't really do that with this movie. They didn't get a band to do that.
Right, they didn't have any like major band or anything come up with a theme for the Broly movie. It was just that's pretty weird, because in the last couple of movies they've been doing that.
I mean, I get like Funimation not getting any like American metal bands this time around, because they stick to the original soundtrack.
Yeah, they're trying to be more accurate now.
Yeah, they do that nowadays, but yeah,
I'm just surprised because this is Toei, and Toei is known for doing insert songs. So anybody here who's a fan of Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, insert songs.
Yeah.
So you know that they were going to do that shit, and they did that for the last 2 Dragon Ball movies. It's just kind of surprising that they didn't this time. Maybe there was some budgetary thing going on, because it seemed like parts of this movie were a little rushed.
Maybe it's like they might do like a thing where it's like a theatrical cut with a how like sometimes movies they do like a theatrical cut and then they do like the home video release where it's like they either add some things in there. I'm not sure if it's like that's the case or if it's just because they thought, let's not do a theme this time because we want a more extended flashback, because we got a good flashback in the movie, or it takes place in the past, which, like I said, it could have been its own thing. But that might
there could be an extended DVD or Blu-ray extended edition that has more footage, because they could have cut stuff out of this movie that we didn't see. Who knows? Like what Oni was saying earlier, they wanted to make it like a 3-hour movie initially, and
that
would be a little long.
We ended up getting 1 hour and 40 minutes.
One other thing I want to mention, and this is kind of a minor thing, they did use CG in this movie, and it didn't really bother me too much because it was very quick cut stuff. Like, it was always like a punch and then a zoom out and then a punch.
Yeah, for big aura effects when they have like the explosions coming in.
The best I ever saw of CG to 2D animation was Dragon Ball Fighters. I don't know what Arc System did, but they know how to do. They
know how to do the effect pretty well.
They basically make CG and 2D work seamlessly. And I almost wish that they had contacted them to ask them how they did that, because
maybe they did. Maybe they actually learned something from them when they worked together on the project.
Well, it probably would have been more slick, because I will say, I didn't have a problem with the CG, but it definitely was noticeable.
Because I think it was their first time trying to do that, but they still might have picked up a thing or two by working with them. They might have
the thing is, it felt different. It didn't feel like the way Arc System.
Okay, because as somebody who does work in video games and animation and stuff, I can tell you that a lot of cases, the people who do CGI anime, they are completely different animators from people who do animation for video games. They have animation departments. That's why a lot of times where it's why can't we have actual anime looking just like fighters? It's because they weren't initially trained in that. It's stuff that do 3D. That's a completely different production cycle. People have been doing 3D in video games way ahead before they started doing that in anime. So it's they're ingrained in there.
It's just one of those things where it didn't bother me, but it was noticeable, and it almost felt like it's one of those things. And I was even saying this to my buddy. I'm like, it would have been really cool if they had found a way to make it seamless, like Arc System Works did with Dragon Ball Fighters, because. It is a movie, so it's a different medium than a game, but you could they still have to be animated. So Arc System Works technically could have done it, but maybe there was something where.
Well, because the thing is that Arc System, they're already working on a whole bunch of games right now. They already announced a game a while back and stuff. So yeah, they're probably busy. But again, this is going another thing too, where people are saying, why don't they get Arc System to animate more series or an actual anime or something? It's because they're at the foremost being a video game company. The animation people who work on video games, literally in Japan, are its own separate business. It's you're not going to see the same person doing animation in video games doing animation for an anime or vice versa, because they specifically are hired on for those mediums. There's only a few cases where it's where the guy is super iconic, where it's we want to get the animator from the show specifically to help us make the game.
That's
even then.
Yeah, like,
that's true.
Right.
Usually,
go ahead, Nightman.
Yeah, usually in cases like that, it would just say they would get Ufotable to do like openings for the Tales games and just do like cutscenes, but that's usually like a rare thing.
I still feel like it's something that can be transitioned from a game over to a movie. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Maybe.
No, there's definitely a way to do it. It's just that the way how the practices are in Japan, where people get hired on for projects and stuff, it's just a completely different beast than like say out here, where it's like, oh, you're working freelance. They're not freelance. They're specifically for those companies.
Yeah, that's true. But those were really my only like complaints with the movie, other than like there was no reason for Beerus and Whis to be in this movie. They just kind of
no, they were just in the background, much like a lot of other episodes of Dragon Ball Super. It's like they're here.
Yeah.
Is there any other criticisms you guys have about the movie?
I was actually going to go back to when I was finishing up the music and we got to talking about the animation and stuff where Arc System works and everything else. I wanted to talk about the sound as well. Maybe I didn't notice the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh thing because again, I was focusing more on the fight.
Oh yeah, no, like I didn't notice that initially at first, but like in retrospectively after Zero mentioned it, that was like, nope. Now that I think about it, yeah, they did use that.
The only reason I noticed it early, Oni, is because it was a cheap, like free sound effect from a free sound pack that I actually used, and they kept using it. And I know that you may say you were focused on the fight, but to me, like if I was just focusing on the fight, then the sound effects and the music wouldn't matter.
I can totally get what you're saying.
Enhance the battle.
Yeah,
so
like from what I'm.
So when they do something like this and they cheap out, that does lessen it. I'm not saying I think the movie's bad. If anything, I'll get to my final thoughts here in a moment. But I think this is one of the better movies that Dragon Ball has had. Yeah. But it's just there were these little things that I'm just like, it feels like they cheaped out a little bit with with the CG and the free sound effects, even though they have a sound library. It just was weird.
I think this is like you as an editor talking, because you probably heard that sound effect like a million times. So that's why you're so used to hearing it, and that's why it really stood out to you. And somebody who has never heard the sound effect before will be still focused in on the fight. But as somebody who also worked on editing, where it's like, I got to play that clip again and again and again and again.
I could definitely see why people are saying this movie feels rushed, because some of it does feel like it was rushed.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously with stuff like that, but does it lessen my full enjoyment of the movie? Not really. It just is something I noticed.
But
that can make me wonder too, because they made this into like, say, a movie. If they were to continue Dragon Ball Super, are they going to adapt the stuff they never got to in the movie? Like, are we going to redo Broly again, like how Dragon Ball Super redid? I
don't think so. I think that Super did that for the first for those two Z movies. It was transition ends. So.
Yeah, it was. They still had Z for a reason, but I was going to say
this is more like it feels like a side story that happened that the manga and the series will probably reference, but we probably won't see much of. Though it would be nice to see if they have some, some fight that Goku and Vegeta can't do, and then Goku instant transmissions over to Broly, nearly beaten up, and Broly's like, "So do you need a hand?" And he's like, "No, we're fine." And he's like, "Actually, I think I can give you a hand."
Yeah, I do.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because technically those first two Dragon Ball movies, those were technically Dragon Ball Z movies.
Yeah.
And now they're under Super, and this movie actually says Dragon Ball Super Broly. So this is the first Super movie.
If they continue Super, I would love to see a team up between Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, like I said, the manga's still going, and then that's a storyline that takes place after Broly.
Yeah, I do think
it does.
I do think there's potential with Broly. Like going forward,
but
I
was going to say as well. It's going back to Z. You know about the sound effects, especially, and this is going to be a little loud, like this one. Oh wait a minute! I got my.
Are you playing something?
I'm about to.
No, don't.
No, I was just using this as an example. On my phone, like that's so loud. Yeah. Y'all kept confusing it with Dragon Ball, and I was saying, no, it was Gundam.
Yeah, I know that.
And now, you know that's Gundam.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm a robot guy. Fun fact.
Thank you. We got a lot to talk.
Oni, you and Jakato have a ton to talk about. Jakato was the one who got me to Super Robot Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
after the podcast. But going back to this, technically, in a way, since I've had to rewatch some of and you hear that, I was like, oh, so they did reuse it from Gundam. Which I'm not complaining about. I mean, that is a good sound effect.
Okay. This is just a little minor fun fact. It's actually used by the same instrument. There's a special instrument. I can't remember the life of me the name of the instrument, but there is an instrument that does make that sound effect. It's like this crazy, like electrical device instrument that plays it for both of them. And just Google it. It's like the same instrument used for the new type sound effect.
Yeah,
just thinking on the side, when there's a time because there was going to be a time where I was going to have to be gone and I wouldn't be able to do the podcast, and CJ was going to have to take the reins on a podcast. I think when one of those times happens, CJ should just get you two guys to do like a Gundam episode, because I don't know enough about Gundam to talk about it, but I could feel like
I could talk for days about Gundam.
And CJ knows a lot about Gundam.
Yeah, I could talk for weeks about Gundam. But anyway, back to my
back to Dragon Ball.
That's for another time. Call me back on that.
Oh, I will. Back to my thoughts on it, because you're right. In retrospective, that whoosh sound, because I'm not as like a heavy editor as you guys. I just finally learned how to edit in Sony Vegas. I'm a noob, yes. But when I hear that, I'm thinking it in my head now, and then going back to Z, and technically, Super the series, which they still did use it, you come to think, yeah, that is kind of cheap. It's just like, feels like you really did use that from a free pack from Kevin MacLeod.
But the thing about it is that's so strange to me, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this because we're already going way too long about this.
Yeah.
Is that, again, there's a Dragon Ball sound library that they have access to that has plenty of better whoosh sounds. Why didn't they use one of those?
Yeah, they have the original library, not like something that a fan pack that like somebody on the internet finds or something. They have legit the actual sound file.
It almost seems like to me that maybe they had someone else editing this movie in Japan. It's
like a production team entirely, because the art style is different. The original director for the movies, he's not on board. Maybe even the different sound people, like they might try like a whole new team to see if like, hey, we're going into like new generation of Dragon Ball stuff. You want to see if it's possible for the new guys to even make a new production on their own?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible. And again, it doesn't hurt the movie in any way, because I wouldn't use the sound effects to be a huge negative on a movie. It's like whatever. But unless they replaced all the sound effects with like gummy bear sounds or shit like that, or Care Bear sounds, like that would be the only time it'd be a problem. But But anyways.
Onto the CG. I don't think I have a problem with it like you guys are having.
I didn't really have a problem with it. I did notice it was noticeable. And that's
I noticed it, but it's like, oh yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, it's not like the new Berserk anime with its
that's a joke.
Yeah, any mecha anime that's come out in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. What I was gonna say,
all things considered, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I will say though, it gave me some Dragon Ball Fighters vibes.
Yeah, pretty similar. Like not quite there, but very similar.
Anyway,
it gives me hope that the CG will become better over time.
So. Oh yeah, definitely. But I was gonna say, at least the CG, even though I loved it, it is shit tons better than Dragon Ball Evolution. I will.
Well, that's a live action movie.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of things to uncover there.
But anyway,
we pretend that doesn't exist.
All right. After we give our thoughts on it, I will get to that one story I was telling you about. But anyway, I love this movie. I'm gonna try and get it on. I'm either gonna try and get it on just DVD, Blu-ray, or if there's like a 4K 4K Ultra HD option. I'll get it on that, because I would love to see this in 4K. I mean, it probably looked the same, but it still would look stunning. You do a rating system, or just...
I don't really do ratings. I just say how I feel about it.
Personally, when it comes to like ratings and stuff, I'm just more of the kind of person who prefers, rather than stars or numbers, like I would tell you to definitely go see this, or like don't see this movie, or go rent it, like those kind of styles.
I would say that. Or one way that I do sometimes is comparatively. And actually, for my thoughts, comparatively, This movie is just like the other two Dragon Ball Z movies that came out that ended up being the first arcs of Super. Like, this is really good. It's an original story that works into the canon, and it doesn't feel like it has to be its own thing. Now, I know the canonicity of the Dragon Ball Z movies before the GT movie are all considered to be in a vacuum when it comes to canonicity. But and that doesn't make them as special as these movies, because these ones actually have to do with the canon of the series. And the GT movie, though, that's canon with GT, but GT's its own thing. But like, yeah, it's I like that. Something that Linkara says is, I like continuity, and this is something that a lot of fans like, is we like continuity. We like it to fit in with the rest of the franchise. That's why I think the Dragon Ball Z movies are so divisive, because certain characters will be there, but it won't fit into the timeline of Dragon Ball Z, so it's hard to like fit it. Where this is, we know that this is canon. The manga has referenced it. They've come out and said that this is part of the canon. Broly is now part of the canon, and on top of that, we have a better character arc for him.
Oh yeah.
What we've ever had, because before he was just a rage boner. That's all he was.
Yeah.
And that always seemed really lame to me. Like, and I know some people really like Broly because he's a super strong character, but now that we actually have character development for him, I like him a lot more, and I'm excited to see if they bring him back. It'd be so cool if they brought him back in Dragon Ball Super, because Goku and Vegeta weren't enough to beat an enemy, and they needed his help.
Yeah. I was going to...
Well, just a quick side note. I think they might bring him back at some point, because, like, again, like in the manga where Toriyama is doing the story, they acknowledge that the movie just happened, and they mentioned Broly for like a minute. So there are some things that are actually, like, considered canon. Oh, that also reminds me too. Another thing they also brought canon besides Broly and Gogeta and his techniques and whatnot. They also made like another character that people weren't sure if it was canon or not. They brought up the fact that Vegeta has a brother in the flashback.
Oh yeah,
from that special.
Yeah, so that's canon.
So they established that that's actually canon, because people were like, "Is that canon?" Now they don't really talk about it in Super.
Wasn't he? I thought he was mentioned at least once in Super, but
I think he was.
They mentioned him in the Battle of the Gods movie, but they don't mention it in the actual Super.
Yeah.
So people are like, they left out Tarble in the Super version of that arc. So they're like, "Wait, so does that mean Tarble isn't canon?" But the movie specifically mentions Vegeta has a brother in it. So,
yeah, I was going to actually say, about Broly's character. It's like, yeah, you're right, Zero. In the non-canon movies, Broly was just like Rage Boner, or as I like to dub it, me on a bad day.
Broly, Super Rage, Kakarot. That's all his lines for like the majority of
it's Vic McDerpderp yelling the same word for an hour.
Oh, that's another thing too, because we saw like the English one and stuff. That's still Vic doing Broly completely.
And Vic did a fantastic job as Broly once again.
This new Broly, still Vic doing it. And he is really killing it. It's probably good on his vocal cords too. He doesn't have to yell out Kakarot every single time.
Oh yeah,
he's actually saying full sentences, actually being a character in this. He actually gets a chance to act out as a character.
He actually has a personality,
right?
Exactly. But with the movie, like you said, there's more character to him, and like I was saying earlier, I felt sorry for Broly. Now, I've always liked Broly, despite the character flaws. It was I just thought he was like, super cool, super, almost like, in terms of my anger, relatable to me because of that. And it's just like, do I want to be calm or do I want to be Broly today? But now we get to this, and you get more character development, different character development about him, and it's just like, because now Broly is canon, I want to see more Broly. I want Broly to be that. I'm not going to say an anti-Goku, because he's not really a villain. He's more the reverse Goku.
He's more of a
reverse Goku, like we were saying earlier. Like different stitches.
He's more of a new rival than an enemy.
Yeah, he might just want to just like spar with Goku or fight him.
Yeah, like towards the end of the movie, it feels like him and like they're like saying, "Hey, I'll come visit every once in a while. We can train or something."
Yeah, let's just not do it on Earth and destroy that. We can just go to some remote desert planet that can be easily destroyed, and we can spar there, like that kind of deal. And now, because of that, I want to see Broly more. I want Broly to become not like technically a permanent fixture, but not like every
that can pop up every once in a while, like
a guy
do.
Yeah, a guy that could pop up every once in a while, be like, "Oh, you need help?"
I would like Broly to be that character, like if it gets to a point where you forget about him that he's in the series, and then there'll be something in like the next series of Super, maybe a couple seasons of Super down the road, where it looks like how the hell are Goku and Vegeta going to get out of this, and then Broly just shows up, and that's
totally,
that would be perfect timing.
Yeah, some kind of new situation shows up, and it's like, how are we going to get out of here? And so it's like they actually have like maybe like Goku, Vegeta, and Broly teaming up against the new bad guy or something.
Yeah, but I want Broly to be like the last resort, like how Beerus was technically the last resort, but now Beerus could be like the last resort, and
like a mid-tier level thing where it's like, we need some help here. We got some guys who aren't available. Who are we going to call? Call Broly.
Yeah, call Broly, and like Zeno could be like the end of the line.
Oh, that's the Nuke 'em all option.
Yeah, that's the Thanos option as far as I'm concerned.
The Thanos Evangelion ending.
Yeah, that's pretty much as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, have Broly come every once in a while, just be like, "Oh, hey, there's this strong bad guy that even Fusion ain't doing. We need Broly."
Or it could be like a thing too, where it's like, "Hey, Goku, you want to go do this thing? Yeah, like we can do that real quick. I just gotta drop this supplies over to Broly or something like that." Like, or like even just casually mentioning, "Oh yeah, Broly's a thing."
Or hell, do like let Beerus and Whis train Broly like they did with Goku and Vegeta. Like have him pop up on Beerus's.
I think that would be too much.
Yeah, that might be too much. Him getting already.
I know, but you never know. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't think Broly becoming a Super Saiyan God would be a good thing.
Yeah, no, like he's got to like learn how to control that rage first. That's why those other two characters are with him on that planet. They're on that.
Yeah.
But anyways, Nightman, you haven't said much. What do you think?
About the movie overall?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the film. There was a couple things I wasn't too keen on. Like as we mentioned, the music was kind of forgettable. But but I will say, like, I do think the flashback at the very beginning dragged on a little too long. Maybe, like, if they trimmed it a bit, it would have been like a little better. But overall, I do think that this would have to be one of the best Dragon Ball movies out there, aside from my little critiques.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was getting to that point, I'll say, with the flashback, where if it went any longer, I would have been like, okay, get to the fucking point already.
Well, I mean, like,
for me, it was just teetering on too long.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the way I felt like I said, like when I was seeing the flashback, I felt like, you know, this could have just been its own separate special, separated from the Broly movie. Like, if you just made this its own thing, we watched that before maybe coming in to see Broly the movie, right? Or something else, that could have totally been its own separate thing. I think if they did go that 3-hour route, they could have just split it like Broly Part 1 or Broly Part 2, like do like a Avengers separation with that.
I'm so glad they didn't do that, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad. Technically, in a way, I'm glad they didn't separate it. I thought it was just enough, especially since I got to see Gine in anime form. So now she's canon, and again, like I said, I like the new Bardock, him being more calm and shit.
Yeah. So I'd probably say to finish off, that's kind of our thoughts. We think the movie is pretty good. Definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's still in theaters for another week. I don't know if they're going to do a sub rollout like they did with Two Heroes, but it's Funimation, so who knows?
It's a good chance.
Because I know for people who don't understand, I think they released My Hero Academia 2 Heroes dubbed first, and then they did they're going to do a re-release, I think, in February, March of it subbed. So anybody who missed it can see it subbed or wanted to wait for the sub. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with this movie. We'll have to wait and find out. At the time of recording this podcast, there's still another week in most places where it's going to be available. And if you live in a major city, I think it's going to be in theaters even longer. But this is considered a Cineplex event, not like a regular movie thing. So
not like an anime movie release where it's like, yeah, just wait till it shows up on Blu-ray and go watch it right there.
Exactly.
Like in theaters, I would totally recommend go seeing it in theaters.
And personally, like the reason I agree, I would recommend seeing it in theaters. And personally, I want to see more anime hit theaters again, not just a special event thing. So and Dragon Ball and My Hero Academia have proven to many of these companies that there is a market for these movies in North America. Mm-hmm. Like maybe, the Pokemon movie that came out a few years ago also got screenings in a few places. So maybe we can start getting national regular releases of anime movies, at least even just the Shonen Jump ones would be nice. So we can get back to the days when, the Digimon movie was the biggest thing ever.
Or Pokemon, the first movie, was the biggest thing.
Yeah. Here's another thing too. Like the Broly movie itself, just on opening day, it earned like $5 million.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna
pretty good for an anime.
Just on opening day.
Yeah, it was like number 1 in the box office too. Mm-hmm.
They're like estimating for like the entire thing, it might be going up there like around like 45 million even, or like
that's pretty good for an anime movie.
Yeah.
So if you want to see it, it's still available currently. If not, I'm sure it will be available on the streaming platforms and in physical release shortly after.
Because like looking over here, the previous world record for it for Dragon Ball was 1.97 million by Resurrection F. This is just surpassing that even more, by more than double.
I'm going to round this off. It's like at 70 million, and it was the biggest opener for that kind of movie, and it wasn't even Friday yet.
Oh yeah,
it was like a Wednesday afternoon when I saw it. So
and Wednesday night when I saw mine, and
I saw it on Friday, but either
same here.
So, anyways, that's our thoughts on Dragon Ball Super Broly. Let's move on to what's going on. So let's start off with Nightman. What's new? What are you working on? And what do you want to promote?
Well, I don't have anything. I don't have anything too much going on. I still need to get back to scripting a Sonic Forces review, but other than that, not too much.
Anything you want to promote?
Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Well, let me do you a favor and go watch Nightman's what was it, top 5 wanted Smash characters.
Yeah,
check that video out, because you brought that out like almost a month ago, but still it needs some more views, so go check that out. I'll probably put an annotation on the YouTube version, or there'll be a link in the description if you're listening to this on Shout Engine. Jakato, do you have anything you're working on, or anything you'd like to
I got a lot of stuff here. As we said in the intro, I do like Twitch and a couple of other stuff. So if you want to keep up to date, you can follow me on Twitter at JakatoXtra. That's JakatoXtra. You go follow that. If you want to check me out on Twitch, that's JakatoX. That's same thing as before, like JakatoX at twitch.tv. Or twitch.tv/JakatoX. I also have a Discord server. You want to check that out. MDETK9M. Just add that into the Discord server. There's a little plus sign in there if you're on Discord. But yeah, I do a lot of stuff. I stream some import games, obscure stuff. I do sometimes talk about like robot anime, as I was saying. Robot videos.
Smash a lot recently.
Yeah, Smash. No, I've been doing like tournaments too. So if you're into Smash Brothers, definitely check it out. I do a lot of speculation on Smash Bros characters getting in as DLC. If you want to check that out, we're into like Yakuza or Valkyrie Chronicles or Metal Gear, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot of different variety streaming, and just feel free to check it out.
Do you have a regular set schedule for your streams?
I usually, like in 2018, I did Monday to Friday, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. East Coast time. You can convert that into whatever time zone you're in if you're listening to this. I try to keep up to that these days as well. But if there's any schedule change, like I said, I got a Discord and Twitter. You can follow any updates on there if I decide to mix things up a little. Those are usually the guaranteed days, like Monday to Fridays.
That's awesome. It's good to hear. So I guess that would leave our pal Oni here.
Yeah.
What do you want to promote? What are you working on?
Okay. Considering I have a ban on a certain topic, I'm not going to mention it, but I do want to promote a few things that I'm also working on. As some of you may know from Zero Streams, I proposed to my girlfriend on New Year's Day. And I came up with the idea and I shot with her and she loved the idea. I made a YouTube channel for me and her. I mean, she has her own YouTube channel, but I wanted to make one for us both, for any ideas we can come up with for just random videos or stream highlights. And considering now that I'm not streaming constantly. It'll be like whenever I feel like it or whenever I want. I get some free time. It's twitch.tv/OniRokaku. I'll either do like a regular Oni stream or what I'm now calling a Oni and Kit stream. But yeah, I'm just mostly streaming now because some of my projects I've been doing, I've had to set to the side because personal life has been busy.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just easy to turn on the stream machine rather than go out and go edit something.
And as for me, I have been working on a ton of stuff. I've been writing like crazy this month. I have a top 10 games of 2018 video that I'm working on.
Oh, nice.
So I'm in the middle of transitioning from I wipe my computer every year just to make everything run because it's starting to get sluggish and it's got a lot of stuff on it. You probably can't see in the background here, but there's a giant computer tower back here. This is actually a server that I've built. I'm going to be making a media/backup server for my video stuff, but that's still in the building phases. So I don't know when I'm going to get to making that all work with my editing and whatnot. I'm also going to try and turn it into a render box so I can render videos and still work on my main PC while it's going on. So that's one of the projects I'm working on. I'm hoping before the end of January, fingers crossed, because there's still 10 or 11 more days of the month, that I can get my top 10 video out, but it's looking like it might be pushed back to February. And if it is, oh well. But I've been writing like crazy. I've got like 3 or 4 scripts I've written for videos that are coming up. I just need to record them and do all the other stuff. But so that's coming down the pipeline. I know the podcast has been a little late. I've been working on stuff since the start of the year, but I'm going to try to get back on the hop of making this bi-weekly. There's plenty more topics to talk about. CJ and I have some stuff that we're working on, and I have some interviews I'm trying to line up for 2019. Like I said, this is actually our first episode of 2019. So,
oh, nice.
Good for you guys for being on.
Hey,
not a problem.
And where you can follow me, everybody, as most of you guys know, my Facebook is Zeromaster fan page, Twitter Zeromaster. You can support this podcast and my other projects on Patreon at the patreon.com/Zeromaster, where you can get early access to videos, behind the scenes stuff, access to the raw version of this podcast before the fully edited one's out, which is a new thing that I'm going to make available for people since I started doing these over Google Hangouts, as well as other perks as well. I'm working on more stuff on Patreon for this year as well. And I stream on Twitch twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. My Twitch is twitch.tv/ZeromasterLP. And of course, if regular 1 to 2 videos a day on my Let's Play channel, Zeromaster LP on YouTube, and of course my review channel, which hosts this podcast and future review videos, and whatever the hell other review style videos I feel like making. So that's all from me. So And that's really all for all of us here. Thanks for coming on, guys, for discussing this movie with me.
No problem.
This was kind of a last minute thing to figure out who was going to be on. But I figured this worked out really well, and we had a lot to talk about, so it was really fun. And hopefully, we'll have other things to discuss. Maybe that Gundam thing will happen if CJ is listening and wants to organize that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna tell that story, but we don't have time now.
Yeah, sorry, we won't have time for that. But
I got an idea. I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Well, anyways, guys, thank you for listening to the Hunter Base podcast. I am Zeromaster, and with me I have
OniRokaku,
Nightman39,
JakatoX.
And I will see you guys next time. Take care. Comb your hair. In a rush. Use a brush. Have a good one.
Later.
See you, folks.
See you next time.